A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now the Goldbergs. The Goldbergs are going home, back to Glastonbury in the New England summer, back to the peace and quiet of the town that Molly loves so much. But Sammy is not going home as Sylvia's husband. Sammy is being moved gently, carefully across the miles, back to Glastonbury to get well after the terrible motor accident in which Sylvia drove him. Sylvia has begged Molly to let her go back to Glastonbury with the Goldbergs. But Molly knows Sammy's true feelings, how he pities this girl who nearly destroyed his life, and how he feels that in some way he, too, is responsible for everything that happened, so much that he still wants to marry Sylvia. It's hard for Molly to say yes to Sylvia's request, but then again she feels that Sammy's wishes are paramount. Meanwhile, Molly and Rosie are in the Allison home waiting for a call from Jake. Listen.
Ma.
Yes, darling.
Mr. Allison wants you to come inside. He wants to talk to you a minute.
I talk to no, darling. More talk I can't endure.
Go in, Ron, and see what he wants.
No, darling. I'm waiting for Papa's call. He's calling me from the hospital.
I'll wait in here for the call, and you go in, Ron.
No, I'm not going in, Rosalie. I'm not going in. I'm waiting here. Is Sylvia inside with her father?
No, she's upstairs. Mama, darling, you're not going to let her come to Glastonbury with us?
Rosalie, please, let me rest my mind a minute. Please, darling, let me rest my mind. Please. Mama's got to relax a minute, please. If not, I'm calling to pieces.
All right, Mama.
Rosalie, don't start with the questions backwards and forwards. That's all I'm asking you. Well, no questions, is she not? And quiet. That's all. If you have a pencil and a paper handy, darling, scribble me a few lines to Martha Wilberforce. Maybe she'll be able to have the house fixed up and make spick and spick, and so I wouldn't have that also on my mind, huh?
You want me to write it now?
Please. While I'm waiting for Papa's call.
Why don't you wait until Papa calls, Mom, and then you can write to Martha and tell her exactly when you're leaving.
That information I can put on the P.S. In the meantime, I can write my salutation.
All right, but tell me what you want to write, and I'll write it.
Get the pencil, darling. Bodies always say to me, Mama dear, tell me and I'll remember and I'll do. Every time, Mama, even in psychological time like this moment, you have to say to me, I'll remember and I'll write. Why is it always such a terrible chore for you to sit down and to write, Mama, a few words or scribble a line? Why, Mama, you please? Mama, must I feel like that at this moment? Write, my dear. Here, take in my pocketbook, you'll see my fountain pen. And take, I don't care if you write on a postal card, write something. Please, darling. Right.
Do you want me to tell her about Sammy's accident?
Oh, I'll have to mention something. I'll have Samuel come off on a stretcher. How will that look? If I didn't say something to the people in the village? Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know, darling. I don't know what to do. I'll take it. That must be Papa.
All right, Mom.
Hello?
Hello, Molly.
Yes, Jake, dear. I'm listening.
I'm arranging everything at the hospital.
Yes, dear.
I'll go on the train with Sammy.
No, we'll go on the train with Sammy, dear. We'll go on the train with Sammy. And we'll let Seymour and Uncle David drive the car back to Glastonbury.
All right. Let us be like that.
All right. And, Jake, darling, a nurse also, huh, Jake?
What then? Speak to Uncle David about some money, Molly. I may be short.
I did already, Jake.
All right.
Jake?
Yeah?
Did you speak to Sammy?
Yes.
Did he speak to you about anything?
What do you mean, anything?
Does Sammy know that we're moving him?
Yes, I told him.
So?
So what?
I mean, Sylvia?
She's not coming with us, Molly.
Did Sammy say anything?
That's beside the point.
But did he?
I'll call you later.
All right. Bye.
What do we have to do now, Ma?
Was Jake on the phone?
Was
that Jake, Mrs. Goldberg?
Yes, Mr. Allison. Yes, go over, dear. Gather together everything so we can get ready.
There's nothing, Ma. Only the handkerchiefs and shirts that Carabelle ironed for Sammy.
Get them, dear. And make a package or a bundle.
All right, Mom.
Scribble me the postal card to Martha.
Mrs. Goldberg, why won't you or Jake let me help you a little? If helping you with my money is the only way I can help, then why don't you let me do it?
Because we don't need it, Mr. Allison.
Don't I know your circumstances?
Uncle David is letting us have what we need.
Well, can't I lend you some money?
No, thank you.
You treat my money as if it was stolen, as if it was cursed or something. I worked honestly and hard for every penny I had. Maybe I was a fool, but I was an honest fool.
If I could take your money, Mr. Allison, you wouldn't have to come to me now and offer it to me. I would have asked you for it.
Why can't you take it?
I don't know, I can't.
What happened to you and happened to your son, I'm sorry for. You know how I feel, Mrs. Goldberg. I would do everything in my power to undo what Sylvia did.
I'm not thinking of Sylvia, but of you.
Me?
Yes. Yes, Mr. Allison. When you came here, happy, very happy, Mr. Allison, to see Sammy married to Sylvia, you knew what happened. How Sammy ran away because he didn't want to marry Sylvia. And you lied to us. You said he went on a business trip, and you lied. You didn't come and speak to me frankly, Mr. Allison.
I did it for my daughter.
I'm doing this for my son. I don't want to be obligated to you or to anyone in any way, no matter how small. We owe you nothing. I want to owe you nothing, no matter how small or how little. What happened to you? What happened between Sylvia and Sammy happened because my son felt obligated to your daughter. It's enough, Mr. Allison. It's too much.
Yes, it's too much.
And I don't feel bitter towards her, Miss Allison. I feel a kind of a hopeless helplessness. And Miss Allison, I'm tired. And I wish there was an end already to all this talk. I want to take my son home and have him with me and be alone with my family. That's all. And for that, I don't need any help. Thank you very much, Miss Allison.
Sylvia? Where are you going? What are you packed for?
I'm going away.
Where?
It depends on Mrs. Goldberg. I want to go to Glastonbury with her until Sammy's better.
She doesn't want you.
May I come, Mrs. Goldberg?
I offered her my help. It was rejected. Maybe Mrs. Goldberg is right not to want anything from us. Maybe she's wrong, but she refuses.
May I come, Mrs. Goldberg?
Can't you realize it's over, Sylvia? I can forgive you because I love you. I can try to help you and help myself. But for these people, the sooner they're rid of us, the better. It's over, Sylvia. Completely over.
Please, Mrs.
Sylvia.
Goldberg, let me alone. Can't you give me this chance, Mrs. Goldberg? All I want to do is be with him until he's better. And then I'll go away. I promise you, I'll never marry him.
Sylvia, it's useless, Sylvia.
It's not useless. I'll get down on my knees to you if you want me to. I'll do anything you say. Please, Mrs. Goldberg, I have to do this as much for myself as for Sam. Please, let me have this chance. You know I'm speaking the truth.
Whether you're speaking the truth is not what matters now. You want to come home with us because you want to help Sammy? You can come. If you realize that he don't love you and he never will love you, if you know that only pity is in his heart for you, then you can come. If you can forget yourself and only remember that Sammy must get well, then come. And mostly, Sylvia, if you can be a person enough to leave when he don't need you anymore, then come. And remember, Sylvia, that you're coming because I have to say yes now to what Sammy wants. And remember that I will, and I can do everything in the world to prevent you from forgetting what you're promising me now.
As Molly utters these words, Mr. Allison looks at the girl who is his daughter, whose life he has never understood, whose heart and mind are a mystery to him, and he wonders what the end of this strange pilgrimage will be. And be sure to listen tomorrow to the Goldbergs. Those lovable folks whose story is written for you by Gertrude Bird. This is Bill Rogers saying goodbye for the makers of Duz, the new kind of granulated soap for all three kinds of wash.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight's story, A Logic Named Joe, by Murray Leinster.
It was on the 3rd day of August that Joe came off the assembly line. And on the 4th, Maureen came into town. And that afternoon, I saved civilization. Maureen is a blonde I was crazy about once, and Joe is a new 1974 model Logic that I've got stored away down in the cellar. And how do I save civilization?
You're listening now to a voice from the future. The voice of Frank Caldwell, head serviceman for the Logix Corporation, makers of the machine that does everything for you. Well, nearly everything anyway. The electronic Logic. In the year we speak, 1974, no modern home was complete without one. And the Logic sets were working so well that life was soft indeed for repairman Frank Caldwell. That is, until that fatal day of August the 3rd, when suddenly the Logics began doing everything for their users and doing it too well.
On the 3rd of August, there wasn't much doing, and I'm hanging around the boss's office smoking up his cigars.
Frank, there's a customer outside. Go take care of him, will you?
Me? I'm a maintenance man.
Mr. Korlanovich wants to have Logix explained to him.
Explained? Where's he been, on Mars?
I just moved up from the backwoods someplace.
Well, why don't you explain him?
Well, I don't feel too well.
You were okay half an hour ago.
Are you the boss here or am I? Go on out there, will you?
Okay. Oh, Mr. Korlanovich, good morning. My name is Caldwell. Can I help you?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Caldwell. This is my little boy, Freddie.
Hiya, jerk!
Oh! Freddie, how many times have I got to tell you not to kick people in the shin? Excuse it, please, Mr. Caldwell.
Oh, sure. Just a kid.
I got a knife home, could cut you into little pieces.
Please, Freddie. We'd like to buy a Logic, Mr. Caldwell. The gentleman we spoke to first said he had to leave in a hurry.
I'll fix him. Well, I understand that you're not acquainted with Logix, Mr. Korlanovich.
That's right. We just moved to the city.
Uh-huh.
My wife, she saw everybody else had a Logic, and you know how women are.
Oh, you bet. Well, you can't get along without a Logic in this day and age, Mr. Korlanovich.
Look, I got a snake. You want to see?
Will you shut that? Now, about the Logic. Here, I'll just plug in this one right here. Now, you see, the Logic looks kind of like an old-fashioned television set, only it's got keys instead of dials. Now, a lot of the keys are standard, like the television stations, the news, the stock market quotes, and so on. Of course, if you want to talk to somebody, you just punch the number of his Logic. It's like making an old-fashioned phone call.
But there can't be keys for everything.
Oh, no. Now, let's say that you want to ask a question, like what to take for a sore throat, or who won the American League pennant in 1911. You turn on the Logic, then you just punch the question key and ask, like this. Who was the first president of the United States?
George Washington.
There, you see.
But I already knew that.
Well, of course, that was just a sample.
I got a little store. Will it keep books for me?
It will keep your books, record your contracts, serve as a filing system, and check up on what happened to your lawyer's last client. Anything.
Hey, they're really something, these things.
10,000 services and information sources in one. Read our advertising.
What I want to know, Mr. Caldwell, How do these logics work?
Of course. Now, you saw that big building across the street?
Sure.
Well, that's one of the relay tanks. You see, there are a dozen of them all around the country, and they're all hooked up together. And there's a data plate in one of those tanks for every fact in creation. Anything that you want to see or hear, you just punch for it, and the logic gives you the answer.
Hey, listen. Could I ask this thing how to make dart poison?
How to make what?
Dart poison. Like in Africa. I could shoot the darts through my bean shooter.
I think maybe we'd better not get one of these things.
Oh, no. It's perfectly all right, Mr. Kolonovich. The logic won't tell you that.
I bet it will. I'm going to try it. Hey, how do you make dart poison?
Public policy forbids this service.
Oh, what did it do that for?
Kind of some little brat. Because some people might ask things that aren't good for them.
Listen, I don't like this here one. I want that one over there.
Kid, they're all alike.
I want that one. If I can't have that one, I'm going to hold my breath till I'm dead.
I got a lot of time.
It's no use, Mr. Caldwell. You might as well give him the one he wants.
But look, kid, they're so much alike that even I can't tell them apart.
I can. I want Joe.
Joe? Who's Joe?
I guess he means the logic, Mr. Caldwell. He has to think up a name to call everything. You should hear some of the names he calls me.
Not till I'm 21. I promised Mother.
Okay, so we call him Joe, but them things are all alike to 1/10,000th of an inch.
I don't care. I bet he'll teach me how to make dart poison.
Okay, then. Come on, Joe. So he keeps yelling, I want that one. I want that one. I'm going to call him Joe. Mike, I tell you, I could have wrung his neck.
How many cards?
I'll draw 2. What a holy terror. He had his father scared to death.
It's too bad that kid ain't mine. I'd show him quick enough who was boss in the family. Uh-oh, holy smoke.
What's the matter?
I'm sorry, fellas. I got to hold up the hand a minute. I just remembered. Oh, I got to call my wife.
Let her wait.
You ever met my wife? Hey, what's the matter with this thing? It ain't getting my house.
Announcing new and improved logic service. Your logic is now equipped to give not only consultative, but directive advice. If you want to do something and don't know how to do it, ask your logic.
Hey, did you guys hear that? Well, they should have told us about that.
Or it's just somebody trying to pull a gag.
Well, it didn't sound like a gag to me. Maybe the boss decided to add a new logic service.
Look, the minute the system starts giving advice, some joker like you is going to be asking questions like, how do I get rid of my wife? Oh, no. The boss knows better than to start anything like that.
Yeah, but you heard what the logic just said.
Oh, listen, the sensor circuits will block the question. You don't believe me? Go ahead and try it.
Well, anything for a gag. Okay, logic, I got a question for you. How do I get rid of my wife?
Service question. Is your wife blonde or brunette?
You guys hear that? She's a blonde.
Hexacrylobinatine is a constituent of green shoe polish. Take home a frozen meal containing pea soup. Color the soup with green shoe polish. This poison is fatal to blonde females only. This fact is a product of logic service. You cannot be convicted of murder. It is improbable that you will be suspected.
The saints preserve us. That's bound to be right. These things can't make a mistake. Well, Mike, don't just stand there. Check the sensor circuits, quick.
Oh, we can't get to them. They're all sealed up. It's supposed to be impossible for them to go out of order.
Well, they're out of order now. And I got a feeling that some awful things are going to happen. Boss, we've got to do something. The logics have gone nuts.
Now, relax. The thing gave a goofy answer once. Maybe it was a joke. But it was an accident. Now, forget it. It won't happen again.
What makes you so sure? People are going to be trying it. Look, supposing I wanted to get rid of you, for instance.
You don't. How would you collect your pay?
I know, but just supposing. Now, look, we'll try it.
If you want to do something and don't know how, ask your logic.
How do I bump off my boss? Male, fat, bald-headed, and 45.
Make some chocolate ice cream containing powdered charcoal in place of half the chocolate. Use Hasso brand charcoal. Hotto contains an ingredient fatal only to fat, bald-headed males. This fact is a product of Logic's service.
Now, look, Frank, I admit these things have gone a little wacky, but there's nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about. If this keeps up, what do you bet that we'll have to shut down the company?
You kidding? We can't shut down the company, and you know it. Logics have taken the place of everything but night baseball. We shut them down, we'd go back to a civilization that we've forgotten how to run.
Yes, but, boss, there's no telling what they'll do.
Listen, now, you've asked these questions for a gag. Nobody's going to ask them seriously. What you need is a little faith in human nature. Excuse me, it's probably my wife.
Cyrus, dear, how do you feel?
Why, just fine, sweetheart. What have you been doing?
I just called to tell you, Cyrus. I've got your favorite dessert for dinner.
Dessert? What kind?
Homemade chocolate ice cream. Cyrus, when you taste it, you'll just die. Cyrus, what's wrong? Why don't you answer me, Cyrus?
What?
Chocolate ice cream?
This can't be happening. Why, this is awful. These logics are dangerous.
Have a little faith in human nature.
Now, Caldwell, you're the head of the maintenance crew. I'll give you 24 hours to fix these logics or you're fired.
Well, now, look, boss.
What are you standing there for? Get in the service car. Get moving.
Where?
Anywhere. Find out what the logics are up to and see that you find out before the logics do.
Bartender, give me a double.
Last night, have a little drink, pal. What's the matter, pal? You had a bad day?
Oh, excuse me, bud.
Listen, pal, you gotta listen. I got troubles.
Bartender, will you get this barfly off of me?
On your way, son.
Oh, don't say that. I got troubles. How am I going to keep my wife from finding out I had a couple of little drinks? How am I going to do it, huh?
Look, mister, it's a hot day, and I've been driving a car around in it, see? And I've been trying to keep a bank president from having apoplexy on account of his logic told him how to rob his own bank. I've been trying to stop 6-year-olds from asking what comes after the bees and the flowers and their fathers from asking how to get $1 million by tomorrow. I've been tripping over dead bodies so artistically croaked that nobody's ever going to find out who done it, and all you got on your mind is
how am I going to keep my wife from finding out I've been drinking?
Dry up, will you? Go ask the logic.
My pal, my boy, where's the logic? Where's that logic?
Here, right behind you. Here's a nickel.
Listen, I gotta hear.
Come on, logic, old pal. Old pal, be nice. How does a guy keep his wife from finding out he's had a couple of little drinks? Answer me that, huh?
Buy a bottle of Franine hair shampoo. It is harmless, but contains an ingredient which instantly neutralizes alcohol. 1 teaspoonful for each jigger you have consumed.
Oh, boy, gotta buy a bottle of... what was that again?
Supposing it's right, you'll never remember it as far as the drugstore. I think there's a bottle in the back room. Somebody left it.
Oh, my pal. Oh, my boy. No more trouble. You'll just show me the way to go.
I got a picture of him back there drinking that shampoo.
Yeah. Give me another double.
I don't know what's worse, to be as low as you or as high as him.
Where is he? I know he's here. Where is that bum?
What do you want, lady?
My husband. I know he's here. Where is he?
Show me the way to go.
That's him, that no-good louse. I'll show him. Thinks he's coming home staggering again, does he? Well, I'll teach him.
Poor guy.
Why, my dear, what a surprise to see you here.
Archibald, you're sober.
Of course, my love. I'm sober as a judge.
Then what are you doing in a saloon?
Your suspicion wounds me deeply, my love. Let me tell you, my dear, that I have been conducting a research project that is going to make us a fortune. I'm going to patent soba, the drink that makes happy homes.
Look at this blotter, Caldwell. Blank. The greatest crime wave in history, and we can't even make an arrest. They're all perfect crimes. Thanks to the logics.
But, Sergeant, we're doing our best to find
Well,
out.
that's not good enough. You can't find out what's back of this. Shut down the company. Or else the police department will.
Look, nobody is back of it. The logics run themselves. They pick their own circuits automatically.
Ah, you mean they're doing all this by themselves?
Sure. We always knew they could do a lot more things than we knew about. I think they're just trying to be helpful, that's all.
That's all, huh? Well, you better make them cut out the tricks, including this new business they're up to now.
What new business?
Just started an hour ago. Every time you turn on a logic, it asks your name And then it spells out the whole history of your life.
What? I haven't heard about that. Well, what's it do that for?
You tell me. Go on, go ahead, try it.
Okay.
What is your name?
How do you like that? I'm Frank Caldwell.
Frank Caldwell. Were you ever called Ducky?
Ducky? Wow.
Lay off, will you, fella? What if I was? It's been years.
Ducky, there is a call for you.
Hello, Ducky.
Holy cats. Lorraine.
Ducky, darling, how marvelous.
Hey, let me get a look. Huh?
Gosh, Lorraine, where are you?
I'm in a hotel. I just got into town. Oh, Ducky, wasn't it smart of the logic to find you?
The logic? To find me?
I asked it how to find Ducky. You must have an unlisted number, darling. You're not in the directory.
Well, gee, how have you been, Lorraine, since I saw you last? I heard you got married.
You won't believe me, Ducky, I know, but I've had 4 husbands, and I've never loved anybody as much as I love you.
You've divorced 4 husbands?
3. The last one, died unexpectedly.
Oh, who unexpected it?
He did. But the jury acquitted me, Ducky. They knew it was just a little old accident. So now I'm free again, and we got lots of things to talk over. You come right on over here, Ducky.
Oh, well, Lorraine, I'm working, you see, and I'll call you back.
All right. Here's a kiss. That'll have to hold you till you get here. Hurry, Ducky.
Oh, my back. What am I going to do?
Do like you were telling me a while ago.
Huh?
Calm yourself. Ducky.
Call on the logic for you, Frank, your wife.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Hi, Gerd.
Frank, I've been trying to get you for an hour. Where you been?
I've been out making calls, honey, trying to find out what ails these logics.
Well, you better find out in a hurry or there's going to be trouble.
Now, look, good. Now, just take it easy, huh?
Caldwell, you can't let this happen to me. They're asking everybody's name, and when you tell your name, it reels off your whole history.
Well, honey, I don't think they're doing that anymore. I think that was just temporary.
Well, in the meantime, it's told everybody in the neighborhood all about me. I punched Mrs. Hudson's name. She's been married 3 times, and she's had Mr. Hudson arrested twice for non-support and once for beating her up. It'll tell anybody anything.
Yeah, but look, Gerd, I'll tell you.
Frank, you stop these things or I'm going to leave you.
Oh, honey, you don't mean that.
I do. If you can't figure out how to keep our private lives out of every logic in town, then I'm through, and that settles it.
I can't even budge any of these relay plates.
Me either.
Isn't there some way we can disconnect them?
Nope, there is not. They weren't built to be disconnected. The sensor circuits were supposed to take care of cutting them off. Now, see who that's for, Frank.
Hello, Ducky, darling.
Oh, Lorraine, not again.
Ducky, darling. I'm so lonesome. Why haven't you come over?
Well, I've been busy.
Oh, poor Ducky. Look, let's get married.
Gosh, Lorraine, well, what I mean is...
Right away, Ducky. You're not busy tonight, are you?
Look, Lorraine, I got married.
Oh, poor boy. My poor Ducky. Well, we'll just get you out of that.
No, now, look, Lorraine.
It's all arranged, darling. I'll just call up your wife and have a little talk.
No, now, please, Lorraine, I mean, it's nice of you to think of me and all, but
Yeah, you just give me your address and your logic number, darling.
I haven't got one.
Never mind, darling. The logic will find out for me.
Lorraine?
Hey, Frank, will you get away from that thing and give me a hand?
Yes, Mike, in a minute. First, I've got to call my wife.
No.
We got to get out of town. Oh, Lord, I made a mistake.
Frank, you're supposed to be helping Mike.
Yeah, I am, boss, I am, but I got to make this call.
Call? What do I care about your call? President's getting ready to close down the company and declare martial law. Now, for the love of heaven, do something.
Yes, boss, I will. I've just got to make this one call before the logics get on my trail.
To assist in solving a special problem of logic service, kindly give the following information if possible. Where does Frank Caldwell live?
They got me. I'm through. Look, Gert, will you please not ask any more questions?
Frank Caldwell, I told you I was leaving you.
Honey, leave me later. Right now, will you pack up yourself and the kids? We got to get out of here.
But what is all this? Are the cops after you or something?
Yeah, that's it, the cops. Now get moving, honey, will you? And will you get away from that logic?
But don't you think we ought to hear the police call?
27 and car 31. Detailed to round up all employees of the Logics Company. Use caution. They are suspected of sedition.
Holy smoke, the cops are after me.
But you just said they weren't.
Car 17, proceed to vicinity of 119 East 7th Street. Child terrorizing neighborhood. Use extreme caution. Child is armed with bean shooter using poison darts.
Freddie.
Who's Freddie?
Something I met once in a horrible nightmare. He wanted a logic that would tell him how to make dart poison. They're all alike, I kept telling him. They're all alike.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I don't know, Gert. All I know is it was a nice world up till yesterday. Now it's like a guy named Joe come along and squashed all our mud pies for us.
Looks to me more like it was a logic named Joe.
What'd you say?
A logic named Joe.
A logic name? But they're all alike. Gert, baby!
Frank, let me go. Don't be so silly.
All right, honey, look, you hold the fort. Maybe they aren't all alike.
Where are you going? Frank, are you going to make a getaway?
Getaway, baby. If you've got the right inspiration, I'm going straight to the middle of this whole jamboree.
Yes? Oh. I was hoping it was the police.
You remember me, Mr. Kolonovich, Caldwell of the Logics Company?
Logics Company. I wish the Logics Company was at the bottom of the ocean.
I don't blame you, believe me. Now, where's your logic?
In here. I'd smash it into a million pieces if I wasn't afraid of what Freddie would do to me.
Look, just get out of the way, will you? I've got business with Joe.
If you want to do something and don't know how, ask your logic.
Oh, we're back to that routine, Well, I want to do something all right. Can a logic be modified to achieve correlations for which human brains are too limited?
Yes.
How great will the modifications be?
Microscopically slight. Changes in dimension not detectable even by precision gauges. They can come about only through an extremely improbable accident.
And what would this super logic then be able to do? Come on, you, spill it.
It could set up entire new combinations of electronic relays, which would bypass the normal sensor blocks, thereby enabling it to perform valuable new services, including the giving of helpful advice on any human problem.
And has this accident ever happened? Come on.
It has happened only once in the case of the logic now owned by the Kolonovich family of 119 East 7th Street. A logic named Joe.
Thanks, Joe. That's all I wanted to know.
Hey, what's all that about?
I'm taking this logic away, Mr. Kolonovich. I'll bring you a new one, and our troubles are all over.
Hey, you, get away from Joe.
Correction, our troubles are just beginning.
Freddie, put down that blowgun.
Shut up. Hey, you, I said get away from the logic.
Look, Freddie, I'm going to bring you a nice new one, see?
I want that one. Get your mitts off it. But I got in this bean shooter ain't lemonade.
Mr. Caldwell, the police. They're outside.
Yeah, for me and Freddie.
Nuts. What they want you for? You ain't smart enough to do nothing.
Oh, no? Hey, there's plenty I could tell you. Look, there's the cops, kid. It's you and me against them.
So what you gonna do about it if you're so smart?
Now, look, we may have to fight our way out. Let me see that blowgun. I know a way to hop it up so the cops won't have a chance. Now, come on, give it to me.
Okay, let's see what you can do. Here.
Thanks. Here!
Oh!
Mr. Caldwell, you're a great man.
Now, all I got left to do is pull this plug out of the wall. Come right in, Sergeant.
Well, that must be the kid. He don't look so tough to me.
Well, he just got a little softening.
There'll be no more complaints, officer. I guess I can go on where Mr. Caldwell left off.
Caldwell? Hey, you wanted...
Now, look, I just came to pick up this busted logic. I don't know a thing.
You said that before. Come on, you're going to the cooler.
Let's go.
Oh, wait a minute. You act like you wanted to go to jail.
Well, just till a certain party leaves town. I got a feeling it's safer.
Okay, then, Caldwell. Into the paddy wagon you go.
Thanks, officer. You may be saving my life. Now, if you'll just help me carry this logic out...
Wait a minute. You can't take that in the wagon.
I can't? Why not?
There's no room. We already got a dame in there who's raising the roof.
A dame?
Yeah, a blonde. Plainclothesman picked her up trying to buy a gun without a permit. She keeps screaming she's going to miss her date with Ducky.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you A Logic Named Joe, adapted for radio by Clarice Ross from the story by Murray Leinster. Featured in the cast were Mandel Kramer, Wendell Holmes, Guy Rep, Bill Zuckert, Walter Kinsella, Bob Hastings, Joseph Julian, Joey Fallon, Mary Lou Forster, Ann Thomas, and Mary Patton. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Next week, X-1 will bring you a dramatization of Robert Heinlein's famous science fiction masterpiece, The Roads Must Roll. It concerns the day when traffic became so impossible that the engineers took over and banned all automobiles, tore up the superhighways, and built huge mechanized roads which whirled along on giant rotors at speeds up to 100 miles an hour. An engineering miracle changed the face of the nation. The rolling roads took over. No one worried about the fact that if the road should stop, our whole economic life would fall apart. The machinery, they said, was perfect. But they forgot that machinery depends on men, and men are not perfect. Be sure to tune in next week at a new time, same day, for another exciting broadcast of X-1.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents X-1. Tonight's story, The Roads Must Roll, by Robert Heinlein.
Hear them hum, watch them run. Oh, our job is never done, for our roadways go rolling along. While you ride, while you glide, we are watching down in sight, so your roadways keep rolling along. Oh, it's high, high, he, the rotor men are we. Check off the sectors loud and strong. 1, 2, anywhere you go, you are bound to know that your roadways keep rolling along. Keep them rolling! That your roadways keep rolling along.
It was in the middle 1950s that the automotive age began to die. The traffic engineers had long expected it. For years, they had watched our vast cities sprawl and spread out, spill over into the countryside. become more and more dependent on motor transportation. And then finally, the inevitable breaking point was reached. The growing flood of cars and buses and trucks began to swamp the streets and arterial highways. The building of roads could no longer keep pace. The superhighways, clogged, congested, became packed with cars stalled bumper to bumper. And the cities began to die of slow strangulation, for the traffic could no longer roll. And then the engineers took over. They banned the automobiles, tore up the superhighways, and in their place they built the rolling roads, mechanized roads that moved like huge conveyor belts, whirling along on their giant rotors at speeds ranging from 5 to 100 miles an hour, carrying the freight, the food, and the people from city to city and coast to coast. And no one worried over the fact that if the road should ever stop, our whole economic life would stop. For the machinery had never failed yet. But people forgot that machinery depends on men, the men who run it.
Who makes the roads roll? We do! That's right, the engineers. We're the brains of the road. And where would the public be if we didn't keep the roads rolling? Right behind the 8 ball, and everybody knows it. All right, then. We're the men who hold the power, and it's time we started using it. We've called this meeting of the Engineers Control Committee because that's what we want to do. Control. Because I'm tired of taking orders from the Transport Commission from slick desk jockeys like Jim Gaines, who don't even know a rotor bearing from a field corn. Now, let Gaines yammer about our duty to the public. That's a lot of eyewash. We've got the power, and we're the men that count. Now, it's time we quit fiddling around and use a little direct action to get what we want.
Mr. Chairman!
The chair recognizes Brother Harvey of the Transport Mechanics Union.
Thanks. Now, I don't rightly belong here since I'm no engineer. I'm just here to represent the workers' union. But I want to know what's all the shouting for. You engineers have got better working conditions than we have, and we ain't kicking. You say the engineers are powerful. You say you can tie up the roads. Well, so can any screwball with a jar of nitroglycerin. And he wouldn't need no engineer's degree to do it, neither.
Harvey, are you speaking for your union now, or are you here as a stooge for the Transport Commission?
Listen, Van Fleek, I helped fund my union. I led the strike in 75 for decent working conditions. Where were you engineers then? With the think!
Brother Harvey, remember, you're only a guest at this meeting. Go on, Van. Now, listen, men. I'm one of the old engineers on the roads. You all are, worked up the hard way. We didn't go to the fancy technical institutes like those young punk cadet engineers the commission is training to take over our jobs unless we do something to stop them. Jim Gaines hasn't been able to fill us full of the old school spirit and that baloney about how the roads must roll. So all right then. Why don't we get smart for a change? What would happen if the roads stopped rolling? Maybe the country would begin to realize that they can't do without us. Maybe we'd begin to get the things we want. Who says the roads must roll?
Yes?
Your wife is calling, Mr. Gaines.
Put her on.
Jim, I want you to stop off on your way home.
I'm sorry, darling, I can't make it.
But you promised.
I know, but Washington called in. They're sending Evans, the Australian Minister of Transport, through my sector today. I've got to show him through personally.
Can't somebody else?
I'm chief supervisor. Wouldn't be courteous.
Courtesy begins at home. I've planned this dinner for weeks.
Honey, the roads must roll.
Oh, if you quote that nauseating slogan at me again, I'll divorce you.
I can't help it, darling. I'll meet you at Stockton at 9 and we'll take in a show. Kiss Alan goodnight for me.
Well, all right. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Mr. Evans is here.
Show him in. Well, good evening, Mr. Evans. I'm Gaines, chief engineer.
How do you do, Mr. Gaines? They told me at the embassy you'd be the man to see. I want to know how the roads work.
I think we can handle that.
Well, I'm not a technical man, Mr. Gaines. My field is sociology. So, suppose you tell me about the roads as if I were entirely ignorant.
Fine. It's nearly at dinner time. Suppose we run up to Stockton Sector for dinner. It'll take us about an hour on the roads, and you can see them working.
Excellent.
If you'll excuse me a minute.
Certainly.
Hi, Chief. What can I do for you?
Dave, you're on evening watch, eh? Where's Van Cleet?
Going to some meeting.
I'm going up to Stockton for dinner. Anything to report?
No, sir. The roads are rolling.
Okay. Keep 'em rolling. All right, Mr. Evans. Let's go. This is the low-speed strip. Ever ridden a conveyor before?
No.
It's quite simple. Remember to face the motion of the strip as you get on. There. We'll go right across. Each adjoining strip is a few miles an hour faster than the one next to it. Freight is carried on the 50-mile strip, most passenger traffic on the express strip. All right, now watch your step. Here we are. The maximum speed.
100 miles an hour. It doesn't seem possible.
This trip makes the round trip San Diego to Reno in 12 hours. Ready to eat?
Is this the restaurant?
Jake's Steakhouse. Fastest meal on the road.
Is it really a proper restaurant?
One of the best. Shall we go in?
Hello, Mr. Gaines. We don't see you much out on the road.
Busy in the office, Jake.
Two? Right this way. What'll it be?
You order.
Well, how about a steak? 2 inches thick from a steer that died happy.
Fine. Plug me in the phone, will you?
There's one right next to you. Flank 2, rare.
You'll excuse me, Mr. Evans?
Certainly.
Davidson on watch.
This is the chief. I'm at Jake's Steakhouse. You can reach me at 10L66.
10L66, right.
Yeah. Now they can get hold of me in an emergency.
Oh? What kind of emergency could there be?
Two, principally. Power failure on the roaders would bring the road to a standstill. That happened during rush hour. We'd have to evacuate millions of people from the road.
As many as that?
Easily. There are 12 million people dependent on this section of road. Gaines here.
Hello, Chief Davidson. Just got the hourly reports in. Diego Circle, Bakerfield Sector, Stockton Sector, and Reno Circle all rolling.
Oh, you didn't have to bother me with the hourlies, Dave.
There's a supplementary from Sacramento.
Proceed.
Cadet Engineer Gunther, while on watch, was found playing cards with C.J. Ross, technician on duty.
Any damage?
One rotor running hot, but still synchronized. It was jacked down and replaced.
All right, have the paymaster give Ross his time and turn him over to civil authorities. Place Cadet Gunther under arrest and bring him to Roadtown Central.
Yes, sir.
All right. Keep him rolling. I was saying there were two possibilities of danger. Can you visualize what would happen if the strip under us would break?
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. You don't realize you're traveling at 100 miles an hour.
Well, it can't. Not now. The strip has a safety factor of over 12 to 1. It'd take a blowout of several miles of rotors and a failure of circuit breakers before the strip could part. But it happened once in the early days on the Philadelphia-Jersey City road. The strip wasn't much more than a conveyor belt. It buckled for miles, crushing passengers against the roof. Forward section in front of the brake spilled them down under into the rotors and rollers.
Oh. Was it very bad?
Over 3,000 people were killed in that break. But the roads had to go on. The entire economic system hangs on the roads. If they stopped now, the country would starve.
Well, isn't it possible that you've become too dependent on these roads? I mean, if your whole economy is geared to the function of one type of machinery...
The roads are foolproof now. The machinery is interlocked with an enormous safety factor.
Yes, but in the long run, machinery depends on men. What if you had a strike?
We had one back in 75. Well, there's not much danger of that anymore.
No? Well, why not?
Every cadet that goes to work on the roads today is a graduate of the United States Transport Academy. They're all picked men, screened for emotional stability, and trained to give us the same kind of loyalty that Annapolis and West Point develop in their men.
I see. Are you a graduate, Mr. Gaines?
No, I'm too old for that. The academy wasn't set up till after the strike in 75. But it won't be long now, maybe 5 or 10 years, before the oldest engineer on the roads is a man who's been through the academy. Gaines here.
Davidson, there's another trouble report from Sacramento Sector.
Again? What is it this time?
What's this? What is it? What happened?
Emergency stop. Hello. Hello, Davidson. Phones are out. Come on. Jake! Jake!
What is it? What's the matter with the road?
Have everybody stay in the restaurant.
What's that?
Probably somebody stepped onto the next strip. Got cut to ribbons. There'll be plenty of casualties. Jake, where's your getaway hat?
In the pantry.
Look here, aren't we going to help those people?
I've got the whole road to think of. Don't bother me. Give me a hand, Jake. The hatch is stuck. You're coming with me, Mr. Evans. You've got to move fast. I haven't got any time to waste.
Where are we now?
Freeway on top of the inner road ceiling. That's the outer shell over us.
Are we going outside?
No, there'll be an access down manhole over here. They're spaced every 100 feet. There, by the green light. Now, this will get us down on the northbound road. Careful, it's dark. Now stand away from the door, Evans.
Yes. But, this road is still rolling.
It was only the 100-mile strip that stopped. That's what I want, a phone booth. Look out, excuse me. Look out.
Hey,
out.
Hey, I'm talking to my wife. What's the idea
Out,
of
you.
busting in here?
Out.
Yeah, but
Emergency priority, division office.
Davidson.
Gaines here, report.
Chief, where have you been? I've been calling you.
Never mind that, report.
709, consolidated tension. Report strip 20, Sacramento sector, past emergency level. Interlocks acted and cut the strip out. Cause of failure unknown. Direct communication cut to Sacramento Control Office. Evacuation of strip 20 commenced. No casualties.
There are casualties. I saw them. Put police and hospital routine A into operation. Get me Bank Cleek. I want him to take over for me till I report in.
We can't reach him, Chief. Shall I cut out the rest of the road?
No. Keep those other strips rolling or we'll have a traffic jam the devil himself couldn't untangle. There are 5 million passengers on the road now. Notify the governor that I have assumed emergency authority. Arm all cadets available and await orders.
Shall I recall technicians on
No.
watch?
This isn't an engineering failure. That whole sector went out simultaneously. Somebody cut those rotors by hand. I want all available senior class cadets to report to Stockton subsector, Office 10, with pistols and tear gas.
Yes, sir. The governor wants to talk to you. He called in.
Referring to someone else, I'm busy. I'll get back to you. I'm going down under. Evans! Evans!
I can't hear you. There's a noise.
Put on this helmet.
What?
Helmet! Helmet!
Oh, yes.
You can't hear without an anti-noise filter. Come on.
What are we looking
A
for?
recon car. There should be one here.
Are those the rotors?
Now, the big ones are rotors. They drive the road. The little ones are rollers. They give continuous support. There's a watch gang now, jacking down a rotor.
Can they hear us?
No, the noise filter works on a 4-foot radius. I'll flash him. Now, he sees the light.
Cadet Wilson reporting, sir.
I want your recon car, emergency.
Yes, sir, right over here, sir.
Come on, Evans.
Yes.
Get in.
But it's so small.
You'll fit all right. You can take off your noise filter now. Hang on, she accelerates like a rocket.
Ooh, my stomach.
Relay station.
This is Gaines. Get me Davidson, senior watch officer.
Mr. Gaines, the mayor wants to talk to
I haven't got time. Get me Davidson. And leave this circuit hooked into Davidson's board until I tell you to cut it.
Yes, sir. Here is the senior watch officer.
Davidson.
Gaines calling. Have you found out yet what's stopping the roads?
No, sir. It's still a mystery to me.
All right. I'm on my way in a recon car. Hold everything till I get there.
Cadet Edmonds reporting, sir. 3 platoons of cadet engineers standing by with tumblebug motorcycles.
Armed?
Pistols and tear gas as ordered, sir.
Good.
Assistant Supervisor Van Cleek is calling you on Circuit 9, sir.
Van Cleek? It's about time. Cut me in.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Van. Where are you?
Sacramento office. Now listen.
Sacramento. That's good report.
In a pig's eye.
What?
I'm not your deputy anymore, Gaines.
What are you talking about?
Listen, don't interrupt me and you'll find out. You're through, Gaines. I've been picked as director of the Engineers Control Committee. We're taking over.
Have you gone off your roller?
We stopped Script 20 just to give you a taste of what we can do. We're running things now.
Man, you don't really think you can get away with this.
You can't start Script 20 until I'm ready to let you. I can stop the whole road if I have to.
Van Cleek, I'll call in the Army.
How will you get them here if the roads aren't rolling? Now listen, Gaines. Whoever controls the roads controls the country. And right now, that happens to be me. Now sign off, Gaines. Gotta call the White House. You behave yourself and you won't get hurt.
I don't believe it, sir.
He's got us, Edmonds. We go in and blast him out, he may wreck the road. What's your rolling tonnage now?
53% under evening peak, sir.
How about strip 20?
Almost evacuated.
Listen in on this, Davidson.
Standing by, Chief.
I'm going down inside with these cadets. We'll work north, overcoming any resistance that we may meet. The watch technicians and maintenance crews are to follow behind us. Each rotor, as they come to it, is to be cut out from under Sacramento's control, then hooked into the Stockton control board. Understand?
Got it.
Check.
If it works right, we can move control of Sacramento sector right out from under Vance's feet. And he can stay in his office there till he's hungry enough to be reasonable. Edmonds, get me a pistol.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gaines, there's a man here. He's badly hurt. He wants to see you.
Take care of him. I haven't got time.
He's from Sacramento sector.
What? Bring him in.
All right. Easy. Come on. Easy. Mr. Gaines.
You're Harvey from the Mechanics Union, aren't you?
I tried to warn you. I tried to get away. He shot me 3 times.
Get a doctor. All right. Easy, Harvey. How long's this been building up?
It's the engineers. I told them they were crazy. Told them the road's got to roll. When I tried to get away, they...
He's bleeding from the mouth, sir.
Harvey. Harvey, can you hear me?
He's dead, Mr. Gaines.
Come on, Edmonds. We better move.
Hey!
All right, you men. You saw Harvey brought in. How many of you want a chance to kill the louse that did it?
I do.
Very well. You men turn in your weapons and return to quarters. We've got a job to do. To make sure the roads start rolling again. We haven't got time for infantile heroics. Anybody who hasn't got his mind on his job will be in the way. Now, here's the order. We move north, mounted on tumblebugs. We're going to try to regain control, rota by rota, before Sacramento sector knows we're moving. We've got to capture any watch personnel we run on before they can get word back. Surprise is vital. Use tear gas when possible. Shoot only when necessary. But get them before they can reach a phone jack. Any questions? No. Then move out. What's the score, Edmonds?
33 prisoners so far, nobody killed.
Whoops. Yes, since I rode one of these tumblebugs, I've gotten how to steer it.
Well, sir, there's a man ahead. There at the rota base.
Got a phone jacked in. Hurry. If he gets word back, we're sunk.
I don't think he's seen us. I'll dismount and get him.
Quick, he sees us.
Here, you.
Look out, he's got a gun.
Oh, I got him.
Grab his gun.
Yes, sir.
You had a phone jacked in all right. If he got through to Sacramento office, it's going to be tough.
I don't know, sir. Maybe he didn't get the call through.
Wait a minute. Listen.
The road.
Take off your noise cover. There. The road. The road is stopping. Halt your men.
Hold up there. Hold up.
There's a recon car coming up.
Relay station call from Mr. Gaines.
Give it to me.
Here you are, sir.
Gaines here.
Davison here, Chief. Van Cleek's calling you.
Who stopped the road?
He did.
All right. Cut Van Cleek into me.
You thought I was fooling, huh, Gaines? What do you think now?
All right, Van, the road is stopped. You won this trick.
Then why don't you get smart and give up? You can't win.
You forgot something, Van. You can't lick the whole country.
Yeah? Gaines, I've got a switch button in my hand. If I push it, it'll blow 300 yards straight across the roads. And then, for good measure, I'll take an axe and wreck the control station before I leave.
That's pretty drastic, Van.
Yeah, if I blow this charge in the middle of Sacramento sector, it'll get an awful lot of people. There are plenty of shopkeepers still on Strip 20, and that row of apartment houses next to the road will go.
Look, Van, you don't want to blow the road, neither do I. Suppose I come up to your headquarters and talk this over. 2 reasonable men ought to be able to make a settlement.
Is this some kind of a trick?
I'll come alone and unarmed. My men will stay here.
All right. All right, Gaines. But one wrong move, and I blow the road.
We've got to hurry, Dave. If I take too long, Van Cleek will get edgy and set off that charge.
Failure report notes.
1, strips must be cross-connected with safety interlocks, so that when one dies, the others slow down. 2, the men.
I can't understand it. Psych tests are rigid. We've never had a failure in the Hum-Wadsworth-Burton method. And then suddenly a whole sector goes sour. How could Van Cleek get a whole crew of psych-cleared men to revolt?
It's easy, Dave. As my deputy, he was ex-officio personnel officer for the whole road. He must have been faking psych records for years and transferring maladjusted men into his sector.
I've got that personnel record, Mr. Gaines.
Man's record. Masked introvert. Inferiority rating 7. Comment. Despite a potential instability shown on Wadsworth Curve, this officer is especially adept in handling men. He's adept, all right. I haven't got time for any more, Dave.
You're not going up there to Sacramento office.
I've got to.
He'll be armed. He'll kill you.
I've got to take that chance.
But unarmed? Why don't you call in the Army? He won't dare blow the road.
Yes, he would. Look at that psych record. He's putting up a big, brave front, but he's rotten inside. He wants to be taken seriously. He wants everybody to think he's the most dangerous man in the country. And if I call the Army in, he'll try to prove it by blowing the road.
How can you stop him, Mr. Gaines? He'll have a gun. What'll you have?
What'll I have? Only a prayer. And what I know about Mr. Van Cleek.
All right, Gaines. Director Van Cleek will see you now. Gaines is here, Director Van Cleek.
Come in, Gaines. Behaving sensibly at last. You know I've got you where I want you, and there isn't anything you can do about it.
I searched him, Director. He's unarmed.
Mm-hmm. I want you to sign this now. It's a declaration of your recognition of the Engineers Control Committee. You've got 1 minute to sign it, Gaines, or I'll push this button and blow up the whole sector.
You better sign, Gaines.
You need this gorilla with the gun, Van?
Hey, you...
Can't you handle one unarmed man alone?
All right, Harry, out.
What?
Out? Yeah. Okay. All right. Now sign. What's so funny?
You are. You start a revolution because you think the engineers should control the road. And then when you've got control, the only thing you can think of to do is blow it up. Tell me, what are you so scared of?
I'm not scared.
Yeah? Sitting there sweating all over that push button you're holding? Your buddies knew how afraid you were. They'd probably throw you into the rotors.
I'm not afraid.
You're afraid of me right now. You're afraid I'll have you on the carpet. You're afraid the cadets won't salute you. You're afraid they're laughing at you behind your back.
No, I'm not. No, you keep quiet. I've got a gun.
You're afraid of using the wrong fork at dinner. You're afraid people are looking at you, laughing at you.
I am not you. You dirty, stuck-up snob. Just because you went to a high-hat school, you think you're better than anybody, you and your crummy little gold-braid cadet.
Van, you're a pathetic little shrimp.
Huh?
I understand you perfectly. You're a third-rater.
Oh.
All your life you've been afraid that someone would see through you and send you to the foot of the class. Throw you right out on your ear where you belong. I don't want to look at you anymore.
I'll show you. I'll put a bullet in you.
Put down that pop gun before you hurt yourself.
Don't you come near me. Don't you come near me or I'll shoot. I'll shoot.
Give me that.
No. Let me go.
Give that pistol. Yeah. And thanks for not disappointing me, Van.
I don't understand.
I thought if I wounded your little ego, you'd forget to push that button and pull a trigger instead. I'm afraid you'll never make a good executive, Van. They have to know when to push buttons.
Davidson.
Gaines here.
Chief, are you all right? Are you...
I'm all right. Attack now and mop up. I'll hold the control room. I've got Van Cleek, and I think his little revolution is just about over.
Hear them hum, watch them run. Oh, our job is never done, for our roadways go rolling along. While you ride, while you glide, we are watching down inside, so your roadways keep rolling along.
Mr. Gaines!
Oh,
Mr. Gaines!
Mr. Evans, I forgot about you.
Yes, I've been waiting at the sector office. Is everything under control?
All rolling. Those are the watch engineers going under to check Sacramento sector, inch by inch.
Remarkable organization. Remarkable.
Hourly's in, Chief. San Diego Circle rolling. Bakersfield, Fresno, Stockton.
Stockton? Oh, no.
What's the matter, Chief?
Trouble, Mr. Gaines?
It sure is. I promised to meet my wife at Stockton for a show. She's been waiting there since 9 o'clock last night. Dave, see if you can get her for me. Try the sector office.
All right, Chief.
And Dave, see if you can calm her down.
Oh, sure, Chief. I'll tell her the roads must roll.
No, don't tell her that. I don't think she'd appreciate it. She's heard it too often.
Oh, it's I-I-E, the roller men are we.
I better get going. Bye, Dave. Keep them rolling.
Anywhere you go, you are bound to know that your roadways go rolling along. Keep them rolling, that your roadways go rolling along. Keep them rolling, that your roadways go rolling along. Keep them rolling, that your roadways go rolling along. Keep them rolling.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was an NBC Radio Network production.
Down in the depths of the Euclidean underwater city, the little band of adventurers whom we have come to know as the Gregory Party find themselves faced with a new problem, and probably a new danger. The Euclidean girl submarine commander who helped them to escape from the island has been put out of the Euclidean colony and made a prisoner with the Gregory Party. Jerry and Joan believe the girl to be a good friend of theirs, but Captain Bradford isn't so sure. Some emergency has stopped all activity on Euclidia, and Mrs. Gregory and the captain have gone to find out what they can. Jerry and Joan remain with the girl submarine commander in their quarters.
Hey, you know, Joan, there was something mighty funny about the way Tex was acting when he went out of here.
His manners seemed to be very abrupt.
Well, it was more than that. Golly, Tex doesn't get excited very often, but he was sure off balance about something this time.
Do you think that we said or did anything to offend him?
I believe I know what was troubling the captain.
What?
For some reason, which I cannot understand, he suddenly became suspicious of me.
Of you, Elaine?
Precisely.
Well, what did you do?
Nothing. I merely asked permission to take part in all of your discussions for plans to escape, and the captain decided to leave the room, taking Mrs. Gregory with him.
Oh, that didn't have anything to do with it.
Surely not.
I appreciate your confidence in me, but you are mistaken. I have studied too thoroughly the expressions of faces under strain. I know what the captain was thinking. However, it will not change my plans. I would like to help you, and will continue to do so to the best of my ability.
Oh, gee, Elaine, we know that. Now quit worrying about it, and tell Joan and me what this emergency or something, what's it all about?
I have no more definite knowledge than you two. But I recognized the existence of such an emergency when the concentrated food pellets were substituted for our regular food.
Do you think that all of the Euclideans are now engaged in some important work and could not spare the time to prepare our usual meal?
Precisely. What may have happened, we can only surmise. But it must be serious.
Well, at least they're still here.
Thank heaven for that.
Hey, they're all excited about something.
What has happened, Mother?
Oh, a great deal.
You three haven't moved out of this room since we left?
No, sir.
We have followed your instructions to the letter, Captain.
Good. Now we'll have to work fast.
Doing what?
Escaping from this place.
Escaping?
Yes, Joan, dear. We have a greater chance now than we'll ever have again. What has happened?
One of the chambers...
Silence!
What?
I am sorry. I forgot for the moment. But if you had not spoken, if I had been allowed to count the strokes of that alarm gong, I could have told you where the accident occurred.
Oh, well, then, I'm sorry. I know about what is happening, but I'm not sure where.
I have counted the strokes. There were 12.
12. Chamber 12. The airplane testing chamber. What does it mean? The chamber is being flooded. They would sound a general alarm for nothing else.
Well, that's general, all right. Every Euclidean in the place was running toward the other end of this first big cave.
Yes, that would be correct. Chamber 12 is diametrically opposite our entrance to the city.
Oh, but if that place is flooded, well, we'll all drown.
Isn't there anything we can do?
Oh, I thought something of trying to steal one of those rocket planes, but guards in the locks would stop us.
If the guards are still there.
Those men will remain. I have a plan.
Well, hurry up with it. We need it.
Oh, by all means, Elaine, hurry. If the captain will allow me.
Huh?
You must trust me now, Captain.
Well, how did you know that what makes you think I don't?
That is not important now. I have a plan which may save all of our lives. Oh, we'll hear it gladly. Did you see your 3 former employees in the agricultural section?
Yes, McLeod, the skipper, and Jim Lowe are still among their pigs and chickens.
They would be of no assistance to the Euclideans. I will take them with me as I pass through there. Where is my Euclidean uniform?
Well, in my room, Elaine.
Give it to me.
Well,
Hurry.
I'll get it.
Well, what's the idea, Elaine?
I am going to steal a rocket plane, taking your 3 employees with me. My Euclidean uniform may get me through the guards, who will not know that I am no longer a Euclidean. If I can get into one of the rocket planes and out into the water, we are saved, at least for the moment.
Oh, yeah, you are. But what about us? We haven't any Euclidean uniform to sneak past those guards with.
You will go up this narrow steel corridor leading to the airlock near the surface of the water.
You mean the one we found in the crest of the volcanic crater?
Precisely. In a panel in the wall, you will find helmets. Put them on. Wait there for me. When the shadow of my plane is over you, fill the lock with water and leave it. I will take you aboard.
But what about provisions, and what of these Euclideans?
Please pull that uniform over my head quickly. I have no time to remove my dress.
Oh, very well. Help me, dear John.
Yes, Mother.
I will take as many precautions as time will permit to safeguard the escape. But we will run certain risks.
Oh, golly whiskers, we're used to that.
How long will it take you to do all this?
Probably less than 180 seconds. I will hurry, and you will not have more than enough time to gain the surface lock.
But what if you fail?
You will still be safe.
Gee. Golly, that girl's got nerve.
Well, Tex?
Oh, I'm sorry I suspected her.
Well, this is no time for such worries. We must be on our way.
Yeah, that's right. But if she gets a rocket plane up there in 3 minutes, we can't get there much ahead of her.
Right. Come on, let's go.
What do we take with us?
Nothing but the clothes we have on.
But, Tex, we're 4,000 miles from Los Angeles.
Oh, and that rocket plane will make it in 4 hours.
That's it, Pat. All we need is a chance to get away.
Are you sure you remember which corridor we take?
Oh, we found it once.
Yes, and we'll find it again. Now, come on, out you go. Everybody, hurry.
Well, let's see. We turn this corner right around to the left.
Will you lead the way, Jerry?
Good idea. You and Joe in the middle, Pat. Come on, now I'll bring up the rear.
All right. Well, come on, then. Now, we'll have to hurry to beat that girl to the top of this thing.
Oh, I don't like to be walking on this noiseless steel at a time like this. It's too easy for someone to slip up on us.
So Jerry and I thought, Mother, until we discovered that all of these polished steel walls act as mirrors if anyone is following or approaching you.
Why, sure they do. If we can see ourselves in them, why, we could see other people.
Well, if anybody could see how we look now, they'd sure get a laugh out of us.
We aren't dressed for a 1,000-mile trip, and we're going to get wet and cold in that water.
Yeah, and we're also going to get away from Euclidia. If we can trust that girl.
I think you may do so, Captain.
Well, I don't want you to think that I'm in the habit of running around suspecting people without reason. So I'll tell you why I'm afraid of that girl. Come on, let's keep walking as I tell you.
Oh, yeah? Well, what is it?
Well, she's been carrying a ray gun around with her. She advised us to leave ours in the sleeping room.
Are you sure of that?
Positive.
I think I can explain that.
Oh, golly. I wish you would, June, so the captain would stop suspecting that swell girl.
I will. The commander, or Elaine, as we now know her, was afraid that Jerry might use the ray guns at the wrong moment, act on the spur of the moment, and do us more harm than good.
Oh, is that so? She didn't think I had enough sense to take care of one of those things, huh? Well, maybe she isn't such a swell girl after all.
Oh, take it easy, kid. It was all for your own good.
Well, I suppose it was, but golly, well, I never did get any fun out of things that were for my own good.
Well, at least that relieves our minds.
This is a very steep climb. How much farther must we go?
Only a little ways now. I think I can see the door to the lock. There, just ahead of us.
Oh, that can't be, Tex. We made a turn just before we came to the door.
You sure of that, Jerry?
You bet I'm sure.
Tex, suppose you can't locate the door.
We'll locate it, all right. We did locate it.
Oh, no, we didn't. That's just the turn in the wall you bumped into.
You are correct, Jerry.
How much, Father?
Getting tired, Pat?
Well, we're climbing awfully fast.
Oh, it's just a little ways now. We're walking on solid rock.
We must have come up at least 200 feet, I think.
No, not quite. Our quarters are about 200 feet below the surface, and this lock is about 30 feet.
Oh, here's the door, Tex.
Right. Now get the palms of your hands against it.
Aye, Skipper.
Why, that door slides down.
Yes, Mother. I presume there is no room for it to slide in any other direction.
That's right. We're in a narrow ledge of rock. in the edge of the old volcano crater. Mighty little room. All right, okay, now in we go.
Now, where's that panel with the diving helmets in it?
It must be here, Jerry. This is the only opaque panel in the entire room.
Well, let's have a look then.
Yeah, I'll give you a hand, Jerry. Now, Pat, you and Joan watch out into the water in all directions. Tell us the minute you see the shadow of that girl's rocket plane on the surface.
Tex, she isn't on time.
She didn't give herself enough time. We're not ready for her anyway.
I've got it, Tex. It's opening. Hey, and there's the helmet.
And here comes the shadow of the... Why, I thought you said she'd have a rocket plane. That shadow was made by a submarine.
I think not. Here, start putting on your helmet.
No, Mother. The rocket planes look like submarines.
Here's a helmet for you, Joan. Come on, get into it quick.
Right. Now, you go up first, Jerry. All right, you next, Joan. Then Pat. Now follow. Open that valve, kid.
Open it is.
Now, helmet's on quick. Now, just swim up. It's only 30 feet. Lock is opening. All right, shoot, kid. Good luck, everybody.
Hey, Skipper! Open up, will you?
Come aboard as rapidly as possible, Jerry. Make room for the others.
Okay, Skipper. Boy, you sure move fast. Hey, Joe, over here.
I'm coming, Jerry.
Throw away your helmet.
I have done so.
Up forward, out of the way, Jerry. Hurry, Joan.
I will get in as rapidly as possible.
Everybody here?
All here, Tex.
Where's Jerry?
Jerry is aboard. Hurry up forward, Joan. Come, Mrs. Gregory.
Well, I'll do my best. Oh, these wet clouds.
Here, wait a minute. I'll give you a hand, Pat.
Up forward, please, Mrs. Gregory.
Be in the second lane.
Close the door after you. I will prepare to take off.
Okay, Elaine. Now we're all shipshape.
Brace yourselves up forward as well as you can. We are crowded, but not overloaded. We will now take off.
Oh, boy, we're off again.
And in 4 hours we'll be home.
4,000 miles away.
That's pretty fast, but it's the best way to leave Euclidia.
Hey, Elaine, where's the skipper, McLeod, and the Chinese cook?
They are in the forward baggage compartment. Everyone is safe. I will set my course for Los Angeles.
How soon will the Euclideans take out after us?
Not 4 hours. I have magnetized their submarine locks. We will not be overtaken on this flight.
Once more, the Gregory party has escaped from Euclidia. It seems a little out of place to escape from the very locality you've come to capture, but sometimes a well-ordered retreat is the best manner of attack. Captain Bradford has discovered exactly where and how he will use his universal solvent to take over the weird underwater colony of Euclidia. But he hasn't any of the materials necessary to compound the formula, and the only way to get them is a quick return to Los Angeles. The Euclidean girl submarine commander has proven a real friend and has taken one of the Euclidean rocket planes. We find the girl commander at the controls now, as the entire Gregory party of 7 other people ride with her at a speed of 1,000 miles an hour. They have been in the air 4 hours since leaving Euclidia and are almost over Los Angeles.
I believe, Captain Bradford, that we will be ready to land in Los Angeles in less than 600 seconds.
10 minutes to Los Angeles?
Precisely.
And we've come more than 4,000 miles in 4 hours.
Well, the wonderful part about it is there's no noise, no sensation.
Boy, there was plenty of sensation when that plane like this one went down with us, wasn't there, Tex?
Plenty, Jerry, but Elaine seems to have better luck with this one.
I think it is not a matter of luck, Captain. Elaine is the finest pilot in Euclidia.
Right, Joan?
Yes, Joan, dear. The type of flying Elaine has done during the past 4 hours wasn't luck.
I'm glad my work as a pilot meets with your approval.
It certainly does, Elaine.
Oh, Mother.
Yes, Joan?
Look down.
Oh, I've been looking. Can't see a thing.
Not much visibility. What's our altitude now, Elaine?
We have descended to 4,000 feet.
4,000 feet? Well, That must be a very heavy fog below us.
It is indeed, and soon it will be all around us. I must descend if we hope to locate Los Angeles.
Yes, and after we locate, it's going to be fun to find a place to land there.
Surely it will not be difficult. We will have the entire ocean.
Oh, no, we won't. You just can't flop down a rocket plane anywhere around Los Angeles. Well, you'd have so many people around you, you'd be sunk before you could land.
That is not reasonable, Jerry.
It is to us, Elaine. Our people have never seen anything like this.
Afraid that won't do, Elaine. We'll have to locate some place where we can get out of this plane and hide away before anybody knows we're home.
I cannot help you now. I know nothing of small bodies of water near your home.
I got it. Can't we get word to Johnson to meet us?
Well, of course, Jerry. But it will have to be someplace very near home. Elaine says we'll be over the city in a few minutes.
Well, this is close to home, all right, if it's big enough. How much water do you need to land this ship in? I mean, how long a body of water?
I would prefer 100 feet. I can land in 80 if it is necessary.
80 feet?
But this plane is 65 feet long.
Precisely. My helium tanks are full. We will inflate the shell to its capacity, using the emergency balloons of fabric. It is possible to settle down almost vertically.
You mean you've got balloons hidden in the roof of this thing? And all you've got to do is turn some helium into them?
Precisely.
Well, golly whiskers.
Yeah, me too, son. Hey, we're losing altitude rapidly now, aren't we?
We are. I would suggest that you call your Mr. Johnson at once.
Oh, he'll be so surprised. When we talked to him an hour ago, we were 1,000 miles from here.
Mr. Johnson knows our speed. He will be waiting for the call.
Is this radio ready now, Elaine?
You may proceed.
Well, where's your body of water, Jerry?
Lake Hollywood.
Lake Hollywood?
Is that large enough, Tex?
Plenty large enough. We've got several hundred feet of water surface there, but it's in a bad spot in the fog.
I will not worry about the fog, Captain Bradford. When you assure me we are within reasonable range of this lake, I will take care of the fog.
You will what?
I will remove the fog from my path.
I did not know that was possible. In fact, I am learning that I knew very little of Euclidia.
I think we're all learning that, Joan.
But how can you do anything about it?
Hold it, Jerry. I'd better get Johnson. CQ Johnson. Hello, Johnson. Bradford to Johnson. Are you getting me?
Go ahead, Bradford. Your signal is strong. Johnson. Waiting. Go ahead.
We're almost over Los Angeles. Be there in a matter of 5 minutes or so. Going to land on Lake Hollywood. Rush up there with transportation for 8 of us. Keep it quiet. Repeat.
Meet you at Lake Hollywood as soon as possible. Transportation for 8. Keep it quiet. Johnson.
That's all. Wait, Johnson. Hold on.
Waiting.
Leave the gates open so we can run into the grounds and into the house on the double quick. We might pick up a curious friend. That's all.
Everything will be ready. That's all.
Your man Johnson is dependable.
Oh, Johnson's a treasure. He thought we were all lost when the island sank beneath that artificial eruption. But when we located him with the radio an hour ago, he was as calm as if we'd just left him at lunch.
I would say that Mr. Johnson had never given up hope of news from us.
He sure hadn't. And I can't see why.
Well, I can. Johnson came down on one of those boats that saw the eruption and sailed away. But Johnson wasn't fooled a bit. He knew that if the explosion had been real, if the island had actually been destroyed, some evidence of it would have floated to the surface.
What an amazingly simple reasoning.
Almost childish. Yet none of us thought of it, except Tex.
And Johnson.
You will learn, Elaine, that Captain Bradford and Mr. Johnson do many amazing things together.
That is obvious. One moment. Captain Bradford.
Yes?
The fog is not solid ahead. I see a tall building.
Oh, well, that's the Los Angeles City Hall.
We're too low to get over to Lake Hollywood.
You take the controls, Captain.
Hey, I'm no wizard with these ships.
You are familiar with landmarks. I will retard our speed to 100 miles an hour or less. You will fly us into a position over the lake. I will land the plane.
Okay, Skipper.
How far are we from the lake, Captain?
Only a few miles. Cut the speed as much as you can, will you, Elaine?
I am doing so. And I will begin to use helium in the shell. After I attain 100% buoyancy, the speed may be negligible.
Boy, oh boy. I hope we don't wind up on Lookout Mountain.
I'm taking no chances, Jerry. I can get an occasional glimpse of Riverside Drive down there. I'll follow it around behind the hills. That's the easiest way to get in.
Are we not in great danger of being seen from the ground?
Oh, I should think so, but we can't do anything about it.
We are making no sound, and we will not attract much attention, merely passing through openings in this fog.
Yeah, I guess we're all right there.
Yeah, nobody could get a second look at us anyway. We're nearly there. Better cut speed some more.
I am doing so.
Johnson can't possibly get to the lake from my home in this length of time, Tex.
He won't be far behind us, and remember that we're not down the lake yet.
The fog is thicker here, is it not?
Sure is. I can't see any holes in it now.
Well, I've got the general direction of the lake spotted, but I'll never hit it exactly in this step.
Well, what did you say about controlling the fog?
I will use the fog ray. That will give us perfect visibility from this plane to the ground in a circle 100 feet in diameter.
Gee, can you do that?
I said I would do it.
Well, isn't it time to try it, Tex?
I don't like to use it until we absolutely have to. That circle cut out of the fog is going to attract the attention of anyone we fly over.
There is no other course, Captain. You cannot land in this fog.
You're right, June. I guess turn on, Skipper.
I am doing so.
I never saw anybody who could be doing what people want you to do before they want it, like you can.
I have been well trained.
Joan, Jerry, look down.
Mother, we can see the ground.
Sure can.
The ray is not perfectly focused for this altitude. I will clear it up.
No, don't. That little haze along the ground may be our greatest protection. I can see what I want. And I'm way off my course.
Are we in danger, Captain?
The only danger we're in is that of going to San Francisco. We're miles over into the valley. I can't get used to the speed of these things.
We are now making only 80 miles an hour.
Oh, it's that fog, Tex. You can't gauge your speed through that stuff.
Yeah, I'll cut it around hard. At 80 miles an hour, we should be over the lake in a couple of minutes.
Is the lake entirely surrounded by mountains?
Well, they're not exactly mountains, Joan. Just hills. But even so, it would be a little embarrassing to fly into one.
No danger of that with this fog cleared away under us.
Yeah, it doesn't do any good straight ahead, though.
Don't need it, son. I know every wrinkle in this terrain. We'll slip in over the lake with 100 feet to spare.
That should be ample.
Perhaps. But it is not a great deal.
No, Joan, dear, but we haven't a great deal of time either. Remember that it would defeat our purpose to be discovered at this time.
It would appear that this local fog is most fortunate.
It sure is. All right, Elaine, take it over. There's the lake right under us.
Oh, golly. Now we overshot it.
That is of no moment. I will circle down and remain within this radius.
Are we going to land smoothly?
There is no reason why we should not. Why do you ask?
Well, the rest of our crew aren't any too comfortable crowded into that front compartment.
Gee, that's right. You know, we ought to tell them we're going to land so they can brace themselves.
That will not be necessary. I will now cut off all power.
Can we just drift down to the lake surface?
Precisely.
May I make a suggestion?
You may.
As soon as you are stabilized over the lake and within 100 feet of the surface, would it not be wise to allow the fog to surround us again? That would remove any possibility of our being observed from the shore of the lake.
Good idea, Joan. How about that, Elaine?
I will stop the fog ray. We are now directly over the center of the lake and less than 100 feet above it.
Isn't there any wind which might blow us slightly off the landing?
None. I will now release the helium balloons from our upper surface.
Boy, we sure stopped going down.
Not entirely, Jerry. We are descending slowly.
What a novel way to land a plane. Why shouldn't this prove practical for our own planes, Ted?
It would. And after we take care of those Euclideans, we'll put a lot of these ideas to work in our world.
We are nearly to the surface.
Hey, any minute now we'll hit. Get set, everybody.
No preparation is necessary. The landing will not disturb you.
And that fog is so thick we can't see a thing.
Nobody can see us.
Good thing they can't. Boy, what a story this would make in Hollywood.
I suppose it's silly, but I'm getting a little nervous. We should soon be down.
We are resting on the surface of the water.
Huh?
Down?
But, Elaine, I couldn't even tell when we landed.
Naturally not. The helium balloons compensated perfectly for our landing.
Can you taxi over the shore without making any noise?
Easily. But would it not be well to wait until we know where Mr. Johnston is?
I know where he'll be, at the dam on the south end.
Then I will use small jets of gas and feel my way slowly to the south end.
Golly, we're home. We're here, Mrs. Gregory.
Yes, Jerry, we're home. And less than 4.5 hours ago, we were over 4,000 miles from here.
It is indeed remarkable. But one thing is not clear to me.
What's that, Joan?
This fog will not remain here. How will we hide the rocket plane?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
After we leave it, I will flood the outer shell. The plane will sink in the lake and remain in perfect condition and safely hidden until we want it again.
Well, it looks as if our troubles are nearly over.
Yes, they are for the moment. But we still have the little matter of going back to Euclidean, capturing those men, and doing that in a matter of hours.
That we will be able to do. I will now land you at the south side of the lake.
25th century.
And the shower of silver dollars from Popsicle Pete's Money Box. Buck Rogers, High Adventure in the 25th Century. A prophecy of the future, for don't forget that although some of the amazing scientific developments you hear about on this program may seem fantastic or improbable, they're all within the realm of possibility according to our present-day knowledge of science and mechanics. Now, as you no doubt remember, Killer Kane and Ardela have set up headquarters on the moon of Saturn called Enceladus. They're organizing a huge space fleet with which they plan to conquer Earth and all the other major planets in our solar system. Meanwhile, Buck and Wilma, hot on their trail, have just reached the Saturnian moon called Themis. And there, from King Nax, they've learned of Kane and Ardela's whereabouts. Now, let's join them. Here we go, 500 years into the future.
Your Majesty, there's no question about it. The man over on the moon Enceladus is Killer Kane.
Yes, sir. And his masquerading as Buck here is just to get authority.
Then my calling him by radio just now is a good move.
You bet it was. I recognized his voice the minute he spoke to you. Now, our job is to get on over there and trap him and Ardela before they can find out we're anywhere around.
Do they know you're on their trail, Captain?
No. So we can take time enough to plan carefully.
Take time, Buck? Does Dr. Hewer in their hands? Well, look, it'll be nightfall by the time we can get to Enceladus.
Wilma, the only reason we didn't trap them on Earth's moon is because we didn't plan our moves carefully enough.
But think of Dr. Hewer.
You see, Your Majesty, it was down there on our moon that they kidnapped Dr. Hewer. If we'd used our heads, we'd have got them instead.
What happened, Captain?
Well, they landed their rocket plane on the moon in plain sight. And we saw it from Earth and went right after it.
I see.
But when we landed beside it, put on spacesuits and went over to it, they jumped out from behind some rocks and flew off in our ship, with Dr. Hewer as their prisoner.
You just now said they don't know you're trailing them. They must have realized you'd lose no time in following them.
Right, but they planted a poison gas generator in the control cabin of this ship. It was only by luck that we weren't done in.
I see. And their belief that you're dead is to your advantage.
Yes, sir. Now, you say that Kane is organizing a huge battle fleet.
All of our Saturnian moons are contributing to it.
That can mean only one thing. Conquest of Earth.
Really?
Now, come on, Wilma. Let's get our heads together and plan how... Hey, where is she?
She was here just a moment ago, Captain.
Well, that's funny. Could you have gone into your office here? Wilma?
Not there, Captain?
No, sir. She didn't get back into this rocket ship, did she? Wilma!
I don't believe so, Captain.
There's something screwy about this King Nax. Wilma! Hey, where are you?
Here's our plan for conquest in a nutshell, Ardela.
Right, Kane, go ahead.
In the first place, these Lunarians of Saturn, believing that we're Rogers and Wilma, have practically finished building a space fleet for us.
Mm-hmm. But what about the rocket fuel that was to come from the moon Themis?
All taken care of. King Nax called me by radio.
Oh, fine.
Now, the space fleet is the biggest that has ever been assembled in one place, and to make things even better, every pilot in the lot has pledged blind allegiance to Captain Buck Rogers. In other words, to me.
What'd you do, go out and talk to them?
Not much. You and King Korax are still the only people on all the moons of Saturn who have seen me. And Korax, never having seen Rogers, believes that I'm he.
Well, King Nax tried hard enough to see you.
But he didn't. All I ask is that these people think I'm Rogers until we get our fleet of battle cruisers on the way to Earth. Then I don't care who knows our real identity. What's this?
You're not Captain Rogers at all, sir. Who are you?
Now, wait a minute, Korax. Just what's the trouble?
Why, you've misrepresented yourself. You're not Captain Rogers. And I insist that you tell me who you really are.
Very well. How's that door?
Yes, Captain.
Korax?
Yes?
My name is Kane. Killer Kane.
I've heard of you.
Now, speak up. How did you find out that I'm not Rogers?
Why, Captain, Killer, that is.
Speak up!
Yes, sir. I sent one of my guards to Themis to check up on the production of rocket fuel, as you suggested.
Well?
The guard is a man who lived on Themis at the time Captain Rogers was here before, when the captain set up our present governmental system.
Yes, go on.
Well, he reported back to me less than 5 minutes ago. And he told me that he saw Captain Rogers land in a rocket plane there on Themis.
What?
Yes, sir.
Kane, we left a poison gas generator in that rocket plane to get rid of him and Wilma.
Lieutenant Wilma Deering is with him on Themis.
That's impossible. They're dead.
Oh, but my guard knew them well when they were here before. And he saw both of them step out of their rocket plane when it landed on the palace roof at Themis.
Where's that guard?
I threw him into prison.
Ha! Good for you.
But only to protect myself.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I realized how deeply I have become involved in this mad plan of yours. Rather than let the guard tell others where and how I've been deceived by you, I put him out of the way.
What do you intend doing now?
I don't know. Anything but continue to assist you in your mad conquests.
You're too late, Korax. You're more involved in this whole scheme than anyone else, even including myself. Now, even if you could back out, you'd be crazy to do so. For by staying with me, you can become one of the most wealthy and powerful men in the whole universe.
What? If only that could be true.
Would you have imagined a few days ago that our space fleet could be made ready for action in such a short time?
No.
But right now, it's the most powerful in the solar system. Any opposition to it, and that means to me, can result in but one thing. Instant and complete annihilation. In other words, Korax, you have no choice in the matter.
Yes, you're right. But I'm glad of it. I've seen what you can do, and I believe you in your promise for wealth and power.
That's the spirit.
I've had my taste of authority in ruling this little moon of Saturn. Now my power will extend throughout the whole solar system.
Absolutely.
After all, we can live for only once. Why shouldn't I get what I can for myself? Command me, Kane. I'm at your service.
Korax, we must first rid ourselves of the menace of Buck Rogers. Prepare the space fleet to invade Themis at once.
It shall be done. It shall be done.
Kane, you're marvelous.
I told you these people could be led around by their noses. What's more, if anything goes wrong, we simply pass the buff to Korax.
Kane, with Buck and Wilma around, the chances for something going wrong are plenty.
Yes, I know it. That's why I ordered Korax to have the space fleet made ready. Not to invade Themis, that would be foolish.
I should think so.
The point is that if Rogers doesn't know it already, sooner or later he's going to know that we're here. Therefore, he won't waste much time coming over here. But with our rocket fleet for protection, we'll be more than ready for him when he arrives.
Seems to me, Kane, we have an even more powerful weapon than the rocket fleet.
What?
A certain individual who's lying outside in our spaceship under the influence of the paralysis ray.
Dr. Hewer, of course.
Right.
Have you renewed his dose of the paralysis ray?
Not since just after we got here, but I gave him a mighty heavy shot of it.
Then he'll be all right. And we'll have him right in our hands if Rogers decides to...
Doctor, are you all right now? Wilma, how did you get here?
We're in Kane's rocket ship, right back at his headquarters. How do you feel?
Why, pretty good. You must have given me an antidote for the paralysis ray.
Yes, I found it in the laboratory deck of this ship.
Wilma, this has been a nightmare. Kane and Adela have kept me under the influence of the ray practically all the time since they kidnapped me down there on the moon. When we first got here... We're still on the moon in Enceladus, aren't we?
Yes, Doctor. And Kane is in complete charge.
Well, when we first got here, I almost completely recovered consciousness. Adela was right here with the ray projector.
That's terrible.
In spite of the antidote, I still don't feel entirely right.
Just relax for a minute, then you'll feel better.
Well, tell me, how did you get here? Kane said something about a gas generator in the control cabin of that other ship.
It almost got us, but we discovered it before taking off our spacesuits.
Oh, thank heaven for that.
Then we started following Kane's rocket trail.
Oh, so that's how you learned he'd come here to Enceladus?
No, we didn't find that out until we got to the moon Phoenix.
Oh, I see.
But I was afraid Kane would learn that we'd got there and try to get away. That's why I didn't waste any time coming over here to get you before he could do anything about it.
Bless your heart, Wilma. But you've taken a terrible chance.
I know it, Doctor, but I couldn't leave you in their hands any longer.
Thank you, my dear.
Now, I came over here in a tiny space roadster, and it may have been seen. So, if you're feeling better, I'll take the controls of this ship, and we'll go right on back to Themis.
Yes, we'd better.
You see, by taking this ship, we leave Kane and Ardela without any way of escaping from Enceladus.
Splendid. Let's go immediately.
Right. Here we go.
Here you stay.
Hey, Kane.
Take your hands off those controls, Wilma.
Not much, Kane. You can't...
Do as I tell you, or I'll pull the trigger of this rocket pistol.
All right.
Ah. You thought you'd meddle in our affairs again, huh?
If you and Rogers and Muir here had any sense, you'd have learned long ago to leave us alone. You've stuck your inquisitive nose into our business once too often, Wilma Deering. You managed to escape the gas in your control cabin, didn't you?
Now listen, Kane.
I'm glad of it. Because now you'll set the trap that'll catch Buck Rogers for me.
Kane, listen to me.
Quiet. Adela.
Yes, Kane?
Keep a gun on these two while I search the beautiful lieutenant for weapons.
Right.
Good night. Now our friends are in a mess. If ever Killer Kane held the upper hand, it's now.
Presenting the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon. Last week, Flash Gordon returned from a raid on Queen Azura's palace and received another electrical treatment from Dr. Zarkov to make him invisible. The treatment was extra strong so that Flash could stay longer for his next raid on the palace. Meanwhile, Azura recovered from the lithium potion which Khan had given her, and thus his plot was discovered. Azura then ordered Khan locked up, but her commands had just been obeyed when news was brought that the avenging shadow had arrived at the palace. Although Azura had stationed guards shoulder to shoulder in front of the door to her quarters, Flash made his way inside and overpowered Tall. Then, as the soldiers broke down the door at Azura's cry for help and attempted to corner him, Flash leaped to the windowsill and held them at bay with Tall's ray pistol. Then Flash warned Azura that her soldiers and her magic were useless against the avenging shadow, and that he would return. These thrilling adventures come to you as they are pictured each Sunday in the big full-page Comic Weekly, the world's greatest pictorial supplement of humor and adventure. The Comic Weekly, each page printed in full colors, is distributed everywhere as an integral part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper. Now we continue the story. As Flash Gordon delivers his defiance of Queen Azura, he leaps through the window. Instantly, the Witch Queen turns to the captain of the guards.
After him, Captain. That shadow is Flash Gordon.
Yes, Your Majesty. After him, soldiers.
Well, why don't you shoot at him, Captain?
We can't see him, Your Majesty.
He just leaped out of that window. He can't be far away.
True, Your Majesty. But if we can't see him, how can we tell where he is?
Oh, fool. You saw the ray pistol he held in his hand when he stood there on the windowsill. Why can't you see the pistol now? That ought to show you his position.
But, Your Majesty, the pistol is nowhere in sight. He must have thrown it away.
I'm Flash Gordon. Why don't you come and get me?
There, that was his voice. Where did it come from?
Down there, Your Majesty. But we can't be sure where.
Can't be sure. Fire a volley down there. You may hit him.
It is useless, Your Majesty. He may have run in any one of 4 directions. There is no use wasting ammunition by firing at nothing.
Very well, Captain. He threatened to return. If he does, as a shadow or as a man, you are to shoot to kill. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Majesty. If we see him, we will shoot him down.
Flash Gordon is invisible, but he is alive and whole, the same as we are. You can't see him, but you may be able to touch him. Shoot straight for the voice when you hear it again. That ought to put an end to Flash Gordon.
Yes, Your Majesty. Return to quarters, men. Forward. Move!
Tall, are you all right? Oh, God! Bring that portable revivifier here and revive General Tall.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Any sign of his coming through?
Not yet, Majesty.
Keep that machine working. General Tall must not die.
Meanwhile, back in the woods surrounding the herdsman's cottage, Zarkov hurries to the aid of Dale Arden.
Dale! What has happened? Where are you? Dale!
Oh, come quickly, Dr. Zarkov.
I'm coming to you, Dale, as fast as I can. An ape man. Do not struggle, Dale. Relax, and the ape man will think you are dead. Then it will drop you. That's it. Now lie still. I will draw his attention away from you. Now, are you all right, Dale?
Yes, I'm all right.
Now, I'll just put an end to this fellow with my axe, so he won't bother us anymore. Oh!
Oh, he's got you, Dr. Zarko. Give me the axe.
I cannot, Dale. The beast has it crushed between us. I cannot get it free.
Hold it off a few minutes longer, Dr. Zarko.
Where are you going, Dale?
To get your ray pistol.
Dale, I am getting weak.
Stop, Dr. Zarko. Relax. Careful, Dr. Zarko. I don't want to hit you.
I'm free, Dale. Shoot. You hit it. Now kill it. Aim a little below its left shoulder. You got it. Oh, good shooting, Dale. My, that was a close call for both of us.
It certainly was, Dr. Zarko. And now that it's all over, I'm rather weak.
Oh, come. Do not faint now, Dale. You are all right. Take some deep breaths of air. Ah, that's right. How do you feel now?
I guess I'll be all right now, thanks.
Good. My, what a big creature this ape man is. He is too big to move. So we'll just let him lie where he is.
I wonder if there's a tribe of them around here.
There may be. Perhaps we'd better move to some other place as soon as Flash comes back.
I'd almost forgotten Flash. How long was he intending to be gone this time, Dr. Zarko?
He did not say, but it should not be much longer. That electrical charge will soon be wearing off.
Oh, I hope Flash won't be foolish enough to stay too long. You warned him about the risk of the charge wearing off.
Yes, Dale. And Flash promised he would not take any unnecessary chances.
But he may be cornered in some part of the palace and be unable to return.
That is true, Dale.
Oh, Dr. Zarkov, let's go to Flash. Let's go and see what's happened to him. I can't stay here and not know.
Steady, Dale. You are just nervous and upset. Flash intended staying away longer than usual this time. We must be patient.
All right, Dr. Zarkov. You know best. I'll wait for him.
That is the way to talk, Dale. Come now. We have not finished getting our firewood. You pick up the pieces of wood as I chop them off.
Obeying Azura's orders, the guard continues to work over the unconscious General Tall. Suddenly, his efforts are rewarded by...
Queen Azura.
You have revived him. Good. You may go now.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Oh.
I am with you, Your Majesty. Where am I? What happened? Oh, my head.
The shadow hit you over the head with a flagon.
Now I remember. The shadow. You were struggling with it. Where is it? I'll pin it to the wall.
It's gone, Carl. It was Flash Gordon, made invisible by some magic of that Earth scientist.
I wish I had had a chance to get at that Flash Gordon.
You did, and he knocked you unconscious.
Curse him. My turn will come. What happened to the door?
The soldiers broke it down trying to capture Flash Gordon.
All the guards you posted out there couldn't catch him?
No. They marched across the room shoulder to shoulder, driving the shadow before them. And suddenly he spoke from that windowsill.
Now, fools! Why didn't they shoot as they marched?
You held them at bay with your ray pistol.
If only I'd been able to take charge, no ray pistol would have stopped me from capturing him.
A flagon did.
I was taken by surprise. I hadn't time to draw my ray pistol. You should have called me sooner, Azura.
Well, you will have another chance at him, Charles. He'll return.
How do you know that, Your Majesty?
He told me so just before he left.
I know how we can capture him, Your Majesty. It is an indirect method, but it can be most effective.
What is it, Charles? How can we capture him?
There is no way of making a person permanently invisible. Any more than you can make the drug of forgetfulness permanent.
Go on, Tall. You mean that...
Sometime the magic will wear off and have to be repeated.
I see what you mean. You can get the shadow cornered in a room that has only one door. Lock the door for a long enough time, and Flash Gordon will become visible again.
Yes, that is one way, Your Majesty, but not the method I am suggesting.
Then I do not follow you, Tall. What is your method?
While we are waiting for the shadow to reappear, why not capture the source of the magic power?
Wonderful. That is a wonderful plan, Tall. How can you do this?
Very easily, Your Majesty. Of course, we shall take every measure to capture the shadow within the palace. But in the meantime, I shall take a company of soldiers and personally discover and capture that Earth magician, Zarkov, the scientist.
As Powell plots to capture Dr. Zarkov and the scientist and Dale anxiously await Flash Gordon's return, a solitary guard paces back and forth before the iron bars of the cell in which Khan, the Hawkman, has been put for safekeeping. As the guard pauses and rests his weight on his flame rifle, it is suddenly snatched from under his arm and thrust into his stomach as a voice from nowhere asks,
"Is Captain Khan alive?" "The shadow. Oh, yes. Yes, he is alive."
Tell me where he is, or you die.
Oh, yes. Khan is in this cell.
Khan, are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right. Is that you, Flash?
Yes, Khan. Stand clear of the door. I'm going to melt the lock with this flame rifle.
Right.
And you'd better stay right where you are, guard, if you want to live.
I begged you to come back, Flash. They tried to make me think you and the others had deserted me.
Desert, my friend? Never. I came back especially to find you, Count. We had to leave suddenly. They were melting down our door. There was no time to waste.
That's just what I thought had happened, Flash. How is Princess Dale and Dr. Zarkov?
They're well and safe. You'll see them presently. The lock is almost melted.
Good. I almost got control of the palace while you were gone. I drugged Azura again, but the lithium wore off, and my plot was discovered. That's why I'm here.
That was too bad, Tom.
For a while it worked beautifully. I had that devil Tall thinking I was Azura's friend.
I just gave him something to remember me by. I broke a flagon over his head.
Too bad it wasn't his head you broke.
I'm not sure I didn't. There wasn't any time to waste finding out, though. The soldiers were on top of me. There. The lock is melted through. Come on out, Con.
That's fine, Flash. I certainly am glad to see you. Why, what are you? Flash. Flash.
Don't look so startled, Con.
Where are you? I hear you, but I can't see you.
Zarkov's newest invention made me invisible. Here, take this gun while I bind the guard.
By cow, it certainly is odd to see a rifle suspended in the air.
Isn't it? I've been having great sport with the soldiers.
Help! Azura! Help!
Shut up, guard! I'll fix you for that. You won't be using that voice of yours for a while.
Hurry, Flash. That cry may bring Azura. Why, you. Have you got him?
Yeah.
Flash.
What is it, Con?
I can see your hands.
So you can. Zarkov warned me the electrical rays would wear off. We must hurry now. There's no time to lose.
Here comes Azura with some more guards.
You hold them back with that rifle. I'm going to capture Azura while their attention is centered on you.
Stand back, you soldiers of the witch. I'm in charge here. Keep your distance. Stay where you are.
Hurry, get out of that cell. Shoot him down, men. What are you waiting for?
As the soldiers battle Khan's merciless fire with the flame rifle, Azura suddenly finds herself grasped by two phantom hands.
Oh, the shadow!
At last, Azura. I've got you in my power.
Next Sunday, you will find these adventures graphically portrayed in full-color action pictures in the Comic Weekly, which is distributed with your Hearst Sunday newspaper. See all these characters and gain the added thrill of knowing them by sight as well as by voice. Flash Gordon, Dale Arden, and Dr. Zarkov, who are from this Earth, and Tall, Azura, Khan, and others who are inhabitants of the planet Bongo, where our story takes place. You will also meet old favorites like Barney Google, Toots and Casper, the Katzenhammer Kids, and many others. So be sure to get the colorful and entertaining Comic Weekly each week with your Hearst Sunday newspaper. And next week at the same time, we'll be back with another chapter in the amazing interplanetary adventures of Flash Gordon.
the super delicious cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
While Clark Kent, who, as we know, is Superman, was taken to Florida by Perry White after his narrow escape from destruction at the hands of Henry Miller, the Nazi Atom Man, Miller was being injected with another solution of radioactive kryptonite, which enables him to generate deadly atomic power within his own body. Miller was preparing to destroy Metropolis when Sidney, the sinister fat spy with whom he has allied himself, discovered through a newspaper item that Superman was still alive. Sidney convinced Miller that their plans for world domination were hopeless while the Man of Steel lived. As we continue now, in the little attic laboratory of a German chemist, Miller is telling Sidney how Superman can be destroyed. Listen.
In spite of Superman's great powers, he's still a mortal, a human being. The doctors and scientists that he permitted to examine him have said so.
I know that. Get to the point, Miller. What are you driving at?
It's like this, Sidney. Human beings have to eat and drink or they die. So all we have to do is to put Superman into a coma and keep him that way until he starves to death.
That's all we have to do, eh? Just put Superman in a coma. Are you out of your mind?
It's easy. Superman can't stand the atomic power of the kryptonite in my blood. I'll expose him to it again.
How can you without...
It's easy, I tell you. I'll let him know that I'm going to destroy Metropolis. He'll show up to try to stop me, and that'll be the end of it.
It'll also be the end of your atomic power, and then we're off.
No, it won't.
Of course it will. Oh, you idiot. Wasn't it exhausted after your last fight with Superman?
Yes, but I exhausted it the last time because I kept trying to finish Superman after he was unconscious. This time I won't do that. As soon as he loses consciousness, I'll stop him.
It might take too much power to knock him out.
I don't think so. The last time...
No, we can't take any chances. Superman's clever as well as powerful. He knows what you can do now, and he'll be more careful. He'll make you fight longer.
I can handle.
You're a fool. Can't you get it through your head that this is the last of the kryptonite? You've got to conserve every ounce. Must be some other way. I've got to find it.
Well, Sidney, I think...
Wait a minute. You said that you and Teufel were sure that Superman's Clark Kent, the Daily Planet reporter.
Well, practically sure. Teufel treated my vest with lead to keep the emanations of the kryptonite in my blood from escaping. And when I came near Kent while I was wearing it, nothing happened. But when I approached him without it, he became dazed and he almost collapsed, just as Superman did.
That's not conclusive proof. Kent might have been ill that day. But was there anything else?
Yes. I got Superman to the beach by phoning Kent and telling him that Jim Olsen was in great danger. Superman arrived within half a minute, and the beach is 50 miles from Metropolis.
Oh, that's better. Much better. So Clark Kent's Superman. Now we get in someplace.
Oh, what's on your mind?
I've got an idea. Yeah. Tell me. Kent has no idea that you suspect his double identity, has he?
No, of course not.
Good. Very good. One other thing. You say Superman becomes affected by the kryptonite in your blood, even when you're not converting it into atomic energy.
Yes. When I met him at the Daily Planet that night, he almost passed out.
Fine. Excellent. Miller, I believe I know how it can be done. Yes, I'm quite sure I do.
Why?
Exposing Superman to your power, of course, and keeping him under it until he's done for without you having to exhaust the power.
How?
Oh, this is good.
Now, look, Sidney, if you're figuring on my walking up to him or sitting next to him in a restaurant or something, it won't work. He knows it.
I'm quite aware of
And a disguise won't work either. His X-ray vision will see right through that.
I know that, too. In fact, I know much more about Superman than you do. I've made a study of him for years, trying to find a way to get rid of him, and now I found the way.
Which way? Tell me.
I'll tell you in the car.
Where are we going?
To make the necessary arrangements for eliminating Superman. Careful on those stairs, my boy, careful. The carpet seems a bit loose. Can't afford to have anything happen to you now, you know. There are millions at stake, millions. And oh, how I love money.
His fat body shaking with greedy laughter, Sidney leads the Atom Man from the attic laboratory. Meanwhile, having arrived at a small hotel on the Florida coast with Perry White, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, immediately retired to his room, where he fell into a deep, dreamless sleep. Late the following morning, when he joined his editor on the sunny breakfast terrace overlooking the sparkling blue ocean, his step was firm, his eyes clear, and the heavy numbness which had clouded his mind since his encounter with the Atom Man was gone. Good morning, Chief.
Well, good morning, Cat. Say, you look fine, like your old self. How do you feel?
Oh, in the pink, as Jimmy would say.
I never saw anyone make such a speedy recovery. Why, you're a new man.
Yes, but I'm still worried.
Now, none of that. No worries. No thinking about the office or anything else for 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Are you kidding?
I certainly am not. I arranged for both of us to be gone for 2 full weeks.
Oh, you did?
We're just going to fish, swim, lie in the sun, eat, and sleep. Now, how's that sound to you, huh?
Sounds fine, but did you arrange it with the Atom Man, too?
Huh? With the what?
Henry Miller, the Atom Man.
Henry Miller, Now, look here, Ken. Don't go off on that subject again. That's what made you sick.
It made me sick, all right, but not in the way you think.
What do you mean? There's no such thing as an Atom Man. Miller's a dirty Nazi, all right, but don't...
Chief, please.
Well, now, look, Ken. In the first place, you're not well enough to go back.
Physically, I never felt better in my life.
Physically? But how about mentally?
What do you mean?
You're a sick man, Ken. You created some kind of a fantastic illusion in your mind about an Atom Man.
I only wish you were an illusion. Unfortunately, though, he's real. And unless we stop him, most of us will be dead in a month.
All the ridiculous nonsense. Now, look here, Ken. Listen to reason. You told me yourself that Dr. Millison, one of the greatest scientists we have, told you that it was practically impossible to create an Atom Man. And that it... Oh, say, that reminds me. Millison was trying to get hold of you.
He was? When? Where? Why didn't you tell me?
Well, how could I? First you weren't around, and then you were sick. He was phoning the office practically every hour. Here, where are you going? You haven't had your breakfast.
I've got to call Millison. Maybe he was able to...
Able to what? Now sit down. Here comes your breakfast. You call Millison later.
I can't wait. This may make all the difference. So long, Chief.
Kent, will you come back here? Kent, come back, I say.
It's a Chief's vacation. He arranged it for my benefit, but if those calls from Millison mean what I think they do... Let's see, where can I... Oh, that patch of bushes behind the terrace ought to do for the dressing room. There we are. Now, off with these clothes. Good thing I had another Superman outfit. The Atom Man certainly ruined my other one. Next time we meet, maybe it'll be different. Maybe. If only Millison has been able to... Ah, there we are, all set. Now, back to Metropolis.
Up and away! Leaping high into the sunlit clouds, Superman veers and rockets away to the north, red capes streaming in the wind. Will he find what he hopes at Dr. Millison's laboratory? We'll return in a moment to learn what happens. But right now, here's Dan McCullough to tell you about that wonderful series of comic buttons.
You know, gang, since Kellogg's Pep began putting out those smart-looking new comic buttons, I've learned a thing or two. For instance, one of the girls in our neighborhood was showing me her button with Winnie Winkle on it. And I learned that Winnie's hairdo is called a page boy. And Winnie's brother, you know, the little kid with the soft bow tie, has a name that's a sort of a joke. You know, Periwinkle. Well, a periwinkle's a plant or a little sea snail. And what I'm learning about the fun you fellas and girls are having, collecting all 18 different buttons. These buttons are just about the best-looking things you ever saw, in brilliant colors on a clear white background. Aren't you glad it's so easy to collect these swell comic buttons? Why, you don't spend in a single penny, not even a box top, and you can't buy 'em anywhere. All you do is to ask Mom to get you plenty of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Inside every package, there's an exclusive prize, one of these swell new comic buttons, or a military insignia or warplane button. It's your prize from P.E.P. Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now back to the adventures of Superman.
Once more in possession of his great powers, Superman has arrived at Dr. John Millison's laboratory on the campus of Metropolis University. Eagerly now, he holds in his hand what is, at first glance, only a modern plastic trousers belt. But woven under the smooth, glossy surface is a network of fine, hardly discernible wire filaments, which cross and crisscross through the entire belt.
You say this belt will detect the presence of kryptonite, Dr. Millison, and warn me of it?
If there's any kryptonite within 100 yards, the belt will warn you.
How?
There's an alarm secreted in the buckle.
Oh, yes, I see it.
It'll send out a high, wavering whine. Not very loud, but you'll hear it.
You say it'll detect the presence of kryptonite within a radius of 100 yards.
Well, I say that conservatively. It may detect it at a greater distance, but 100 yards is certain.
Good.
It's constructed along a principle of radar, which was perfected during the war.
Now, look, Doctor, this is terribly important. Will it detect kryptonite in liquid form? In a man's body?
In a man? Oh, you still got Teufel's Atom Man on your mind. I'd forget that if I were you.
Well, I can't. Because, you see, Teufel did create an Atom Man.
Oh, come now, Superman.
I tell you he did, Doctor. I battled with him, and it's only a miracle that I'm still alive.
Good heavens. You really mean...
Yes, I do. But don't mention it to anyone. No sense alarming people until it's absolutely necessary.
No, of course not. But
I can't believe it.
It's true. Only too true. And unless I stop him, he'll destroy every vestige of civilization as we know it. Now tell me, Doctor, this is important. Will the detector warn me of the presence of the Atom Man? Will it?
Well... Tensely, Superman waits for Dr. Millicent's answer. The answer which this time will truly mean life or death to him. Because at this very moment, Sidney is on his way to the Daily Planet to set a deadly trap for Clark Kent, whom he suspects is Superman. Fellows and girls, don't miss tomorrow's tense, dramatic episode. There are a dozen thrills and surprises in store for you. So don't fail to tune in. Same time, same station, and follow the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday. Same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Publications. Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Discovering that Superman was still alive after his terrific battle with Henry Miller, the Nazi Atom Man, Miller and his sinister ally Sidney concocted a diabolical scheme to once and for all eliminate the Man of Steel. Meanwhile, again in possession of his great powers, Superman hurried to the laboratory of Dr. John Millicent, a famous scientist, in response to an urgent summons. Millicent gave him what appeared to be an ordinary plastic belt, but which was actually an extremely sensitive detector, equipped to warn Superman of the presence of kryptonite, the deadly radioactive element which enables Miller to generate atomic power. Then Superman asked a question, the answer to which may mean the difference of life and death to him. Listen.
Tell me, Dr. Millicent, will this detector belt warn me of the Atom Man?
Well, I think so.
You do?
Yes, the detector's extremely sensitive. Makes use of a new principle of radar which we perfected just before the war ended. Of course, it won't register at nearly as great a distance as when the element is in its solid form.
No, I can understand that. At what distance from the Atom Man will it register, would you say?
Well, for a rough guess, I'd say about 10 yards.
10 yards? That's only 30 feet.
Yes. It might register at a greater distance, but I wouldn't count on it.
30 feet, that's not much. But it might just give me time enough to take him by surprise and tear that box off his throat. That's my only chance to defeat him.
What box?
Well, he wears a small square metal box over his jugular vein. It has a tiny electronic tube in it and a switch. That box controls his power. I found out that much.
Sounds like an electronic converter, designed to flash an impulse to the kryptonite atoms in his blood, starting on nuclear fission. No, it's impossible. He'd explode to bits.
Everything he pointed his metal gloves at exploded except me. And he remained very much alive.
Impossible. Wait. Did you say he wore metal gloves?
Yes, they were meshed metal. Jagged green sparks poured out of the fingers like miniature lightning bolts.
Amazing. What was the metal, do you know?
I'm afraid I was too busy trying to stay alive to find out. It was gray-white, I can tell you that, with a sort of bluish cast.
Those gloves are the secret, and the converter, of course. I'd certainly like to see them.
After my next encounter with the Atom Man, if I'm still alive, I'll bring them to you, Doctor.
What makes you think you'll encounter him again?
I'm sure I will. He said he intended to destroy me first and then enslave the rest of the world. Well, he knows now that he didn't destroy me. Chances are he's looking for me right now.
How can he find you? Nobody knows where you go or even who you are.
That's my ace card, my only salvation. Well, I'll be going now, Doctor. I can't tell you how grateful I am.
Forget it. I did very little. I only wish I could do more.
You did a great deal. It may make all the difference. No, don't bother to show me to the door. I'll use your skylight again if you don't mind.
Of course not.
So long. And thanks again.
Goodbye. Best of luck.
Up, and away! Leaping through the open skylight, Superman leaves Dr. Millicent's laboratory and streaks away. A short time later, once more in the guise and garb of Clark Kent, He enters the Daily Planet city room and approaches Jimmy Olsen's desk.
What? Mr. Kent, what?
Well,
How?
don't be so startled, Jim.
But you're in Florida. You were awful sick, and are you all right now?
Fine, thanks.
Oh, gee, that's swell.
Where's Lois?
Well, she's out on a story. Where's Mr. White?
It's a silly conversation. He's in Florida. Oh, and that reminds me, I'll have to send him a wire. He won't know what happened to me.
Oh, well, I guess you're all right again. When you start getting mysterious, it means you're in the groove.
Let's hope I am. Jim, have there been any reports on our late friend and colleague, Henry Miller?
No, not a one. He just disappeared. Listen, Mr. Kent, did you really mean it yesterday when you said he was the Atom Man?
Did I say that?
Well, sure you did. Don't you remember? Oh, I guess you didn't know what you were saying, huh?
Well, one guess is as good as another. I got some things to attend to. I'll see you later, Jim.
Oh, now look, Mr. Kent, don't start clamming up on me again.
What?
Well, you know something. I can tell by the way you act. Oh, here, I'll hang your overcoat up.
Thanks. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like a little privacy. I got a call or two to make. But we can have lunch together if you like.
Okay. Hey, where'd you get that snazzy new belt?
Oh, you like it?
Yeah, it's keen. One of those fancy plastic jobs, huh?
I guess you could say that. Jim, send Beanie in, will you? I want to send a wire to the chief right away. He'll be having fits.
Okay. What time do you want to go to lunch?
Oh, 12:30, 1, whenever it suits you.
Well, the earlier the better. You know me.
I certainly do. 12:30 then.
Check.
Right. Now, let's see, a telegram. Sorry, had to rush away. Very urgent matter.
Hey, Mr. Kent.
Just a minute, Beanie. I'm finishing a telegram. I'd like you to send it out right away, please.
Okay, there's a fat geezer here wants to see you.
A what? Here you are.
A fat geezer.
Oh?
And very high class. He's wearing yellow gloves and spats and carrying a cane.
Oh, what's his name?
Sidney.
Sidney what?
That's all he told me. He says he's got something very important to see you about.
All right, send him in. And make sure that telegram goes at once, Beanie.
Consider it done, Mr. Kent. Okay, Mr. Sidney, you can come in.
His mind preoccupied with thoughts of the Atom Man, Clark Kent looks up indifferently as the fat Sidney, his tiny babyish mouth smiling benevolently in his moonlight face, waddles into the office.
Kent is about to receive the shock of his life, so stay tuned in for the startling climax of today's episode. But first, your announcer.
You know, gang, there aren't many prizes, or such doggone swell prizes, that you can get as easy as those new comic buttons that now come in packages of Kellogg's Pep. Why, you don't have to spend a single penny of your allowance, and yet you can have the fun of collecting 18 different buttons, each one with a true-to-life picture of one of your favorite comic strip characters. It's no end of fun to add to your collection every time Mom opens a new package of Pep. Fun to swap duplicates with your pals, too. And mighty exciting to wear all your buttons pinned on your jacket or dress or cap, so everybody can see how many you've collected. And did I say these new comic buttons are easy to get? Why, you don't send in any money, not even a box top. All you do is to ask Mom to get you some of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Then look inside the package for your prize. One of these slick-looking new comic buttons from P.E.P. Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now back to the adventures of Superman.
Sidney, the shrewd master spy who now controls the Atom Man, has just entered Clark Kent's office at the Daily Planet. Placing his Homburg hat, yellow gloves, and cane on a corner of the desk, he wedges his fat body into a chair and leans forward confidentially.
I'm a retired businessman, Mr. Kent, and for several years I devoted myself to a hobby. I think you'd be interested in it, and I need your cooperation.
On what?
On my hobby, which I have reason to believe is the same as yours.
I'm afraid I don't understand. What hobby?
Why, Superman, of course.
Superman?
Yes. Why do you look so startled, Mr. Kent?
Startled? I'm not startled.
Oh, forgive me. I thought you were.
What makes you think Superman is my hobby?
Perhaps I used the wrong word. Perhaps I could say he is my hobby and your work.
My work? What do you mean by that?
Oh, perhaps nothing. Perhaps a great deal. But let me tell you the real purpose of my visit.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Yes, well, you see, I'm considering publishing a report of my studies on Superman, in which I would reveal to the world his true identity.
His true identity?
Of course, you know he has a double identity.
He has?
Come now, Mr. Kent, you know who he really is.
I do?
Certainly you do. That's why, before I publish my findings and expose his identity...
No, you can't do that. You can't.
Why not?
Because, well, you may be mistaken.
I'm quite sure I'm not mistaken.
Well, you may be. You must be. And if you published a false report, you'd cause a great deal of trouble.
Yes, I would, wouldn't I? I wouldn't want to do that. That's why I want your help.
My help? How can I help you?
As an expert on Superman, Mr. Kent, I'd like you to look over my documents and photographs and all the other material that I have on the subject.
I see. Well, this sounds very interesting, Mr. Sidney. I'd like to see your documents and other data.
Yes, I was sure you would. Shall we go now? I have a little place in the country. It's only about an hour's drive.
Oh, no, I'm afraid I can't leave just yet, but I have a car, and well, perhaps this evening.
Oh, whatever you say. My place is called Green Meadows. It's on a side road 3.5 miles west of Glenville on Highway 33. You'll see a rustic sign saying Green Meadows and a dirt road through the trees.
I'll find it all right.
Good. I'll be expecting you then. Goodbye, Mr. Kent. Until tonight.
Yes, till tonight.
Deeply worried, Clark Kent stares at the door through which Sidney waddled from the office. He mutters to himself,
"Does he really know who I am? Or is he only bluffing? If he does know, what's his game? Is it blackmail? I've got to find out how much he knows and keep him from publishing it. If the Atom Man knew Superman was Clark Kent, well, that'd be the end. For me."
"Yes, Clark. And unfortunately, the Atom Man does know you're Superman. And so does Sidney. Are you going to walk into their trap? Think fast and act fast. Faster than even you have ever thought before. Because once again, your life is at stake. Fellows and girls, don't miss tomorrow's thrilling episode, whatever you do. Tune in, same time, same station, for The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellows and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday. Same time, same station, by the grand old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC Publications.
Fed up with the everyday grind. Tired out from the summer heat. Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are caught in a web of nightmare, struggling to free yourself from sleep, while constantly, threateningly, your destruction draws closer, and you know unless you awake, the ultimate conclusion is death.
Tonight, we escape to 2200 A.D. and the fearsome picture of the last days of civilization, as H.G. Wells told it in his terrifying story, Dream of Armageddon.
From the very beginning, the dream was quite vivid and real. Much more real than the dull world of business that moves by day. And in a short time, I began to thrust the waking world aside and live my life wholly in the dream, night by night. I was not then aware, of course, of the hideous ending to come. A thing so horrible to face that even though I doze now in my chair, I dare not sleep. I can't recall exactly when the dream, if it is a dream, first began. Oh, a month ago, perhaps. At any rate, I fell asleep in my flat and awoke in another place and another time. That is to say, as I fell asleep here, I awoke there, far away on an island in the Mediterranean, and hundreds of years in the future.
Eden, you must wake up now.
Wake up? But where am I?
Here with me, of course. Oh, Eden, my dear, you've been dreaming.
Oh, yes. Yes, I remember now. It was such a vivid dream. I thought I was a man living hundreds of years ago. Silly, but it took me a moment to shake it off.
And was I there with you? In the dream, I mean.
You're here with me now. That's the important thing. Has there been no word? Nothing has changed?
Nothing. Otherwise, I should have awakened you.
Good. Perhaps they've finally decided to leave us alone.
I hope so. I couldn't stand much more of it. Our faces on every telescreen all over the world. Scandal criers, saying...
It doesn't matter, Noma. It's over. We've left all that behind us in the north. We're going to be very happy here.
Oh, my darling, we have to be. It's the only thing that will justify what you did.
Noma, can you doubt that we will? Come here. Look out through the glass wall there. Blue sea down below us, pale hills and the far-off mainland. Why, is there any more perfect place to be happy than here in Capri?
And what of the woman you brought with you? Did you not perhaps give up too much for her? Pay too great a price?
You're worth more than all of it, Noma.
You make me feel very humble. You were the most powerful man on earth, Council Master of the Allied Nations of the North, the ruler of 1 billion people.
1 billion fools? Why, had they not been, they would have accepted you.
They felt they had reasons?
Reasons? Could not permit me to marry beneath my station now. I've given my whole life to them until now. Has a man no right to happiness, Noma? They follow their own desires. Why shouldn't I do the same for once?
Why not, indeed? I've no answer for you, beloved. I'm proud and humble for what you did. But also a little afraid.
Afraid of what?
I don't know, Eden, I don't know, but the Viceroy.
Your pardon, Master Eden. May I have your attention, please?
Yes, go ahead. What is it?
There is one here who desires to speak with you.
I'll see no one. I've told you that.
He tells me to say, the white grasses grow tall in the north and reach above the snow.
Eden, it's a messenger from the council.
Yes. Very well, send him up.
What does it mean? Have they thought of some new way?
No, my darling, it is nothing. He'll talk of duty again and all the other things, the same kind of talk. It can't be anything else.
If only they'd chosen someone besides Evesham to govern.
But they did choose him. If he doesn't suit them, they can find someone else. I'll have no part of it.
He's such a fool, such a stupid, blundering fool.
Perhaps they need a fool. Perhaps that's why... Oh, there's the messenger. Come in.
I must beg you to pardon this intrusion, Master Eden, but the Council considers the matter of the greatest importance.
It's all right. Now, what is it you wish?
If we could speak alone, perhaps.
I have no secrets from the lady. She knows everything. Now, what is it?
I am empowered by the Council to ask you to return at once and take charge of the government again.
Alone?
Yes, that would be required, of course.
Then the Council wastes my time and theirs.
But there have been new developments. Evesham already has begun the moves we've always feared he would. That no one but you can stop this madness, this foolish ambition of his.
And more is the pity, for I do not choose to do anything about it.
You know what it means, of course.
I know nothing of the affairs of government. I am a private citizen engaged in seeking happiness.
Master Eden, do you believe that one man can work out his fate apart and separate from the fate of all mankind?
You may leave now. You may go back and tell the Council that I have no concern in their problems now or ever.
Very well, Master Eden. But if you should decide differently, decide quickly, for there is very little time.
Oh, Eden, is it true? Will it really come to that?
Probably. The South and the East are not easily bluffed.
But war. Loose in the world again for the first time in 100 years. War again.
They don't know what it is.
No, they don't. They've never seen it. Eden, you can't let it happen.
No, my darling, I've made a choice, and it's final. If it comes to war and the whole world falls in ruins, then I'll live on in the ruins. But I'll live there with you. That's final.
Eden, I'm afraid.
I calmed her fears at last with many brave prophecies of the joys we should find in our life together. And as we talked and watched the sun sink finally in the waters of the quiet sea, the blusterings of Evesham seemed far away, and the threat of war no more than a part of some nightmare. At a late hour, we fell asleep.
Henry.
Hmm?
Henry, wake up. I said wake up. Can't see why you always have to wait for me to shut off that clock.
Sorry, dear. I was dreaming.
Dreaming, indeed. I guess yourself dressed. You want to be late again this week?
Good chance of war. I don't know just what I can do about it.
Oh, Henry, for pity's sake.
One thing's certain, I won't give her up, no matter what happens.
Her? Who's her?
Oh, yes, of course. I'm getting up right this minute. I'll get dressed right away.
Henry,
there's no need to get excited, dear. There's plenty of time to catch the 7:12.
I never saw such a man in my life. Wasn't for me telling you what to do, I don't know what would become of you.
All that day at my office, I kept thinking about the dream. It was hard to remember that it had been a dream. It had been so real as everyday things going on around me. Perhaps even more real. Certainly more desirable. For, as you may have guessed, my daily life held little of interest. But in the dream, everything was different. There I could be the great master Hedon, controlling the destinies of millions of people, feeling for the first time in my life a deep and exhilarating sense of power, so sharp in its contrast with the drab, waking life I lead. And most of all, I could not forget the girl. The way she looked. The glorious way that she... Well, no matter. All day I kept wondering if I should be able to find the place again, so far away in space and time. Too long delayed, the night came at last, and I went to bed hopefully. But nothing happened. There was no dream. For 3 nights there was no dream, and I grew frantic with worry, with longing for her. And then came the 4th night.
Careful, darling. Watch where you're going. You almost fell over those rocks.
I'm sorry. I guess I was thinking of something else.
Yes, for 3 days now. You haven't been yourself at all.
Well, there are so many things to think about.
It's all right, Hedon. I've known you were thinking of it constantly, even though you've not mentioned it.
There's nothing new, is there?
What?
I mean, well, have you had any word that you've kept from me? Thought it best to? Something of that sort?
No, Hedon, no. I've had no word from the North. Oh. No one here has. Yep. Everyone seems to sense it. There's a fever in the air. Tenseness. So they could smell something. The smell of war, perhaps.
There'll be no war. Once Evesham knows his bluff's been called, he'll back down.
You know him better than that. You count on that blind luck of his to see him through. And you could stop him, Hedon. You could still go
back. There'll be no going back.
How can we hope to find happiness for ourselves if millions die because of us?
If it should start, it can't last long. People in the world today have no idea what war is. When they find out, they'll have no part of it.
When they find out, it'll be too late. There'll be blood on the ground then, and hate and vengeance. And there can be no stopping it.
Then why should not... Well, then the fools shouldn't... They shouldn't start it then.
But they are fools. You said yourself...
What?
Look.
Oh, planes. Some special pleasure flight from the north, I suppose.
Hedon, they don't look like transports. They're not built the same.
No.
They're like pictures of the
old... Those are war planes. Those are bombers.
It's begun already.
No. No, but it's part of the bluff, and the dangerous part. Why, those planes have been stored away for 100 years. I knew of them, of course. All the council did, but I never thought I'd see them in the air.
I fear it's a wrong, terrible thing we've done. And I'm afraid. But it would be a lie, my beloved, if I said I was sorry.
No more warplanes came to Capri in the next 2 days. But the sight and the sound of the first ones have been enough. The peaceful island of pleasure became a beehive of belligerent activity. Preparation for war by a people who had never known anything but peace. Old weapons, relics for years, came out of storage places, were cleaned, polished, made ready. Big guns appeared as if by magic, were quickly set in placements about the rocky isle. Norma and I took no part in the madness about us, but walked alone from the others. She with a growing sadness, and I with a swelling hatred for blind, blundering Evesham, and for the stupidity he'd called forth now in mankind. And then, late afternoon of the third day.
But why? Why do they act as if they might come here, Heaton? If there were a war, it could never reach to Capri.
Who knows why they act or what they think? There's no reasoning in them. They're like sheep, anxious to get their throats cut and have it over with.
It was all so beautiful, so beautiful, Heaton.
Oh, Norma, it still is. All this has nothing to do with us. We've turned our backs on it. What they do now is their own concern. This can't touch us.
So terrible to think about it. Heaton, look. The planes have come back.
Yes.
Coming over the hills there.
He's still playing the same old game. Oh, how long can that blundering Evesham hope to... Norma, these are not the same ones.
What do you mean?
I know the shape of these. These are warplanes from the south.
Then, oh no, it can't mean anything. Was that what they call a bomb?
That's what they call
war. Even I want to see it. All its horror and idiocy. I want to see it.
Not too close to the window, Norma.
Look, down there by the edge of the water. Where the little pavilion was, Eden. Nothing but broken rocks and smoke drifting up.
Yes, that's where the first bomb went.
But why should they wish to destroy a little summer pavilion?
An accident. But they were trying there for the docks.
We swam there every morning. Do you remember how clear and how clean the water was? There must be blood in it now.
Norma, there's no good in that kind of thinking. This is what they chose. Now they've got it.
I couldn't have known it would be like this.
Perhaps not, but that can't be helped now. It's too late now for them ever to turn back.
How could they ever? Eden, no! Look, Eden, that plane. Along the beach. The whole promenade. Hundreds of people and children, too. I don't want to see any more, not ever.
We've got to find some way to get out of here. Some way. Capri is right in the middle of it.
It was so beautiful here. Why should anyone make war on Capri?
Why? War has a bad habit of spreading everywhere once it's turned loose. Just a moment.
Supervisor from 22.
I'd like a private plane and a pilot right away. Destination to be decided.
Sorry, sir. All planes have been taken over by the government. General order by Master Evesham.
Confound it. All right. What about a boat?
Power boats have been taken over. Perhaps a few small sailing craft may be still available.
Find out. Get me a navigator and enough crewmen.
Sorry, sir. The government has ordered all able-bodied...
All right. Just get me a boat then. Buy it, charter it, whatever's necessary. I'll sail it myself.
Yes, sir.
Where can we go, Eden?
I don't know anywhere but here.
Yes, then let's go quickly. Take me away someplace, Eden, far away. Anywhere but here.
Then flight. Days of flight from stolid death in his military boots who tramped always just behind us. Never far away. I fought to stay asleep. To stay with my dream. To stay with Norma. I cursed each time I awoke.
I simply can't understand you, Henry. You moon around the house like a lovesick calf. Haven't been to the office in 3 days. Don't you have any consideration for your job or for me? Do you want to see us kicked out into the street like tramps without a cent to our name?
waking life became the vague movement of shadow figures of which I remember nothing now. But my life in the dream was very real. Oh, yes, very real.
No. I've just come from there. You cannot go through the pass.
Why can't we?
It is impossible. You must go back to the coast quickly.
Even can't you explain to him we must find some place to buy food? We had nothing to eat for 2 days.
No, lady. There is no food here. Everyone is starving. Pestilence has broken out.
Pestilence?
Horrible plague. Came suddenly. Already, people of 2 villages are lying dead in the gutters. Spreading very quickly.
Come, Norma. Let's go back to the boat. We tried first to land somewhere along the southern shore of the Mediterranean. We found it everywhere the same. In some places, the people were dying of disease and starvation. In others, they were dying of bleeding burns from the flame of war. But always they would die.
Even everywhere we go, we find dead bodies. More and more all the time. What's happening? Has the whole world gone mad? Is the whole world dying?
Back again to the north and a landing on the peninsula. Then pushing our way overland, trying to find some haven in a world intent on smashing itself to bloody fragments. Fleeing from the idiot fury around us and being blocked at every turn.
You cannot go there. You must turn back immediately.
Why? Why must we turn back when there's no place left to go back to? Back where?
That I cannot tell you. But if you go farther, you will die. They have used poison gas, and the area is contaminated over hundreds of miles. I've seen people die from it. It is not a pretty sight.
Yes, everywhere.
Of course, if you would like to stay here, I'm sure we can take care of that pretty little throat of yours. Yes, indeed, we can.
There were no real battle lines as yet. No armies. The thing had come too fast. But everywhere roving bands fought, plundered, killed one another. Sometimes not even knowing if they were killing friend or foe. And always overhead were the planes, humming like hawks, killing anything that moved.
Eden, do you think he sees us?
I'm not sure, Norma. Don't move. Don't move. He's heading toward us, all right.
Eden, we can't just lie
Don't
here.
move, Norma. By heaven, I think it is us.
Look.
Where?
That old woman walking on the road. Doesn't she know? Oh, Eden, horrible. Horrible.
Norma, no. Let's go. It wasn't us he was after. And so, for love and for reason, on and on, day after day, we fled from the monster stupidity of war. Till at last we could flee no farther. We found ourselves at dawn one morning in an open space near those great ruined temples at Paestum. Roman ruins that have stood for centuries were still standing even then. We sat and watched the sunrise, the most beautiful I've ever seen. We said little to one another. Low hills broke away below us, dotted here and there by trees, low thickets of laurel between. The great stones of the temples above us were pale pink in the morning sun. And the silence was everywhere. Silence and a false feeling of peace.
This morning, looking out there, one would never know.
Oh, it's beautiful. But we can't stop here no more. We're only hours away from it now.
How much farther, Eden? How far must we run now?
I don't know, my dear. It seems to be everywhere.
Sometimes these last few nights, I've looked up at the stars and I've thought, all of this is happening because of us. We're to blame for it,
No, darling. No, we tried to find happiness, that's all. Can there be anything evil in that?
I don't know, Keaton, but I'm afraid. I do not run away with me. This would not have happened. Millions of people must die for our happiness. Something is wrong.
Well, the blame lies with them. They die for their own stupidity.
We are not stupid. We could have prevented it. Had you gone back and left me...
No, my darling. Now, there'll be no talk of that kind. We'll still find... We will. The chance to work things out somewhere.
I had a strange feeling, Eden. We shan't have any more chances. We owe some kind of a debt. They're going to have to pay for it very soon.
Oh, you're tired, Norma. That's why you talk this way. You'll soon
Look,
feel...
even another flight of planes.
Yes, they're everywhere now.
And like vultures, hovering, watching and waiting everywhere.
Norma, we'll find someplace yet. Someplace. Norma, get down! Norma, you all right?
Eden, I love her.
Norma. I sat there on the ground for hours, holding her body close. I was only dimly aware that she no longer lived. Time had no meaning. The world receded far away. The shadows of afternoon pointed all one way, and my thoughts were only dreams within a dream. I must have stared at them for several minutes, not realizing who they were, watching them approach through the bushes. Before they came within yards, before it struck me suddenly, those uniforms. They were soldiers of the South and the East. With only one thought in mind, I jumped to my feet and ran toward them. No, it's all right. It's all right. You don't need those guns. I mean no harm. You see, I only wanted you not to come here. It's my wife. She's dead. There's no one else here. No, put away the bayonet. There's no need for it. You can take your men around the other... Now, what are you going to do? No! Oh. I lay there on the ground for a long time after they left. At first I tried to crawl back to her, but I couldn't. Then later I was unconscious. Whether this be Armageddon, that last flaming end of the world, I do not know. But of this I am sure. When the end does come, it shall come through man's unheeding selfishness, through man's stupidity. For when man stood up and learned to think and was no longer an animal, he became one with the gods. And like the gods, must take heed of the fate of mankind. This I know. Always before I had longed desperately to escape into the dream. But now, with equal desperation, I fear to do so. For Eden's world is dying now, shuddering in the last great convulsions of its death agony. Over the whole great landscape of earth lie the rotting, disfigured bodies of the dead. And the sad sun gleams with a pale and ghastly light through the smothering curtain formed by the hideous fumes of war. The moans of the half-dead swell up from the plains of earth, fill the vast emptiness of the heavens, and go unanswered. Starvation, pestilence, war, and death. The whole world is dying. Eden, too, is dead. He died hours before I awoke this morning. His body still lies before the silent temples of Paestum. Yet in the dream, I still occupied his body. After he was dead, great vultures came and tore with their beaks and claws, and I was still conscious. I was still conscious. Now tonight, because of that, though I grow faint with weariness, I dare not go to sleep. In the name of heaven, how long will a dream go on?
Escape is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald. Tonight we have brought you Dream of Armageddon by H.G. Wells, adapted for radio by Les Crutchfield, with editorial supervision by John Dunkel. Featured in tonight's story were Stacey Harris and Betty Lou Gerson, with Charlotte Lawrence, Jack Crucian, Eric Rolfe, and John Daner. Special music by Ivan Ditmars. Next week.
You are standing in the light of an arc lamp by the cathedral in Mexico City, looking at a dead body lying at your feet, and a great fear comes over you as you wonder if you are a haunted man.
Next week, we escape with Ralph Bates' most unusual story, The Haunted Man. Good night, then, until this same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. Roy Rowan speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Fed up with the everyday grind? Tired out from the summer heat? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are groping through the midnight dimness of a gigantic department store. And suddenly you realize that 100 eyes are staring at you from the shadows, and 100 hands are reaching for your throat, and your most urgent desire is to escape.
Tonight, we escape to a fantastic world of night dwellers, as John Collier imagines it in his eerie story, Evening Primrose.
Sadie? Sadie, what's the matter? It's me.
Oh, you nearly scared me to death. What do you mean come in so quiet?
Oh, I didn't mean to scare you. I thought you'd be asleep. I didn't want to wake you.
Oh, Sam, I'm so glad you're home.
Hey, what's the matter?
Oh, it's terrible. You got to do something, Sam.
What's terrible?
Look at this. Just look at this.
What's terrible about that? Looks like an ordinary pad of paper to me.
Yeah, that's just it. That's just what I thought. But it's got writing in it. Oh, it's awful.
Now, wait a minute. Maybe you better tell me what this is all about.
Well, today I went shopping at Bracey's department store.
Yeah?
I needed some writing paper, so I picked this up. It was on top of the pile. So I bought it and I brought it home. But tonight when I opened it, I found it's got writing in it.
Well, that's nothing so terrible. Just take it back tomorrow and make him give you a new one.
You don't understand. It's what's written in it that's so terrible.
What do you mean, what's written in it?
Here, you gotta read it.
Oh, Sadie.
No, right now, read it.
Look, Sadie, I'm tired. I've been bowling all evening.
Please, Sam, please, just read it.
But for Pete's sake...
Sam.
Oh, all right. October 13th. Today, I made my decision. I decided to say goodbye to the world. To get out, leave, break away. And I have done it. Ah, Sadie.
Go on, read.
And now I am free. Really free. Yes, I am free at last.
Yes, I am free at last. The world is an intolerable place for a poet. I was broke, starving, at my wit's end. And then I had the brilliant idea. I'd escape to a place where I'd had no need to earn a living, where I could write to my heart's content in peace and security. And where is this place? Right under your nose, so close you'd never think of it. I am now living in Bracey's department store. I have everything within arm's reach that anyone would need or desire. And it's all free. Absolutely free. I arrived this afternoon. I'd spent 3 days looking over all the department stores in town. I decided on Bracey's because of the completeness of their food department. Therefore, this afternoon I entered the store and went immediately to the 4th floor, to the rug department, and hid myself in this dusty, out-of-the-way corner behind a pile of carpets. Once I'm settled, I'll furnish it with the best of modern pieces from the furniture department. It's small, but it'll be cozy enough and safe. After the store closed, I made my first venture out. I tiptoed as far as the stationery counter and got this paper, the writer's primary need. Now, after making my first entry, I'll go out and get food, and wine, and the pillows for my bed, and perhaps even a fancy dressing gown. This is perfect. Here I'll be able to write. Dawn, October 14th. I am almost too unnerved to write this. The whole thing is unbelievable. After the store was dark and completely quiet, I crept out and started for the food department. One's steps echo hollowly in an empty department store at night, and I found myself gliding along the floor on tiptoe, moving as silently as possible. But the sound of footsteps persisted, and suddenly I realized that they were not my own. The night watchman. I was in the Salon Moderne, so quickly I seized a mink coat from a hanger and draped it about my shoulders and stood stock still. I could have reached out and touched him, but he passed without so much as a glance. I started to smile, but the smile froze on my lips. There was someone else here. I was looking straight into a pair of eyes, large, flat, luminous, inhuman eyes a dozen feet away. They belonged to a creature dressed as a man, but he was as pale as something found under a stone. His hands hanging motionless at his sides looked more like the fins on a fish than human hands. And then he spoke.
Not bad for a beginner.
I'm sorry. I didn't know anybody else lived here.
Oh, yes, we live here. It's delightful.
We?
Yes, all of us. Don't you see? Look around you.
I looked around and saw nothing. I looked again and saw an old one come clambering out from behind a clock. And there were 3 elderly ingenues, incredibly emaciated, pale as lace, almost transparent, simmering before a perfume counter. And a chintzy lady swam out from the curtains and the drapes. Then they came swarming thick around me. Pale, thin, wispy, moving silently, fluttering like gauze in the wind, whispering.
It's close to the sky. Send for the dark men. Send for the dark men.
They were pressing around me, clawing, holding me, their pale faces contorted with venomous and human hatred. I was paralyzed. All I could do was repeat over and over again, I am not a detective. I'm not a detective. I'm not.
A burglar, then. Oh, they'll carry into the plane. Into the darkness.
Stop. Let him speak.
I am not a detective or a burglar. I'm a poet.
But what are you doing here?
I've renounced the world. I came here to live where I could be alone, away from the world.
Why, then he's come over to us. Look, he must meet Mrs. Vanderpant. Mrs. Vanderpant, she's coming now.
I followed their eyes toward the balcony, and the hair on my neck rose again. There, coming down the wall, like an ancient spider, clambered an old lady, wrinkled and crackled and emaciated. She must have been at least 80, her shadowy matriarch. And the things around me bowed and scraped as she reached the floor and floated toward us.
Oh, what's going on here? Where is that stupid girl? What's keeping her?
Oh, Mrs. Vanderpant.
Well, what is it? Who's this, Mr. Roscoe?
Mrs. Vanderpant, may I present Mr.
Huh? Oh, Snell. Charles Snell.
Yes, Mr. Snell. He's a poet. He has come here to live.
Oh, he has he?
That's what he says. And I believe him.
Well?
He avoided the night watchman quite neatly. For a beginner.
Thank you.
Very well. We shall see. A poet should find inspiration here.
Mr. Snell, Mrs. Vanderpant is our grand old lady.
Oh?
I'm quite the oldest inhabitant here, Mr. Snell. 3 mergers and a complete rebuilding. But they didn't get rid of me. Oh, where is Ella? Where is my broth?
She's bringing in Mrs. Vanderpant. It will come.
Terrible little creature. She's our foundling, Mr. Snell. She's not quite our sort.
Oh, is that so?
I have been here, Mr. Snell, ever since the terrible times of the 80s. I was a young girl then, a beauty, they said.
I'm sure.
And poor Papa lost his money. Braces meant a lot to a young girl in those days. So when I wasn't able to have a charge account, I came here to live. That's better than a charge account. I was quite alarmed when others began to come after the crash of 1907. Oh, but it was the dear judge, the
hello.
colonel, Mrs.
How do you do?
Dilby.
How are you?
Mrs. Dilby writes plays.
Oh?
And comes of an old Philadelphia family. You'll find us quite nice here, Mr. Snell.
I'm sure I will.
And, of course, our dear young people came in 1929. Their poor papas jumped from skyscrapers. They couldn't bear to be without charge accounts either.
But you mean all these nice people live here?
Oh, and many more. You shall meet them all later.
Oh, here comes Ella with my broth. Come here, you stupid thing.
Mrs. Vanderpant is waiting, Ella.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I'm coming as fast as I can. Oh, here.
On the table over there, Ella. Now be careful, don't spill it.
Oh, but she's young.
Well, of course she is a little younger than most of us.
She's different. She's beautiful.
That's right, old fellow. She's really not our sort.
Oh, you shouldn't say such things. She can hear you.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
Mrs. Bilby, please. Mr. Snell, you will understand these things better after you've been here for a while.
But it seems to me
Mr. Snell, we have certain rules here. They are necessary for our survival. I'm sure you won't find it hard to observe them.
Well, yes, but
I should advise you that you try. If you do not, it would be most unfortunate, Mr. Snell. Most unfortunate for you.
October 15th. You can imagine my feelings last night. My first thought was to escape as quickly as possible. In fact, I planned to quit my hiding place and mingle with the crowds and leave Braces forever. But just at dawn, Mr. Roscoe brought me a cup of coffee, which must have been drugged, for I fell asleep. And when I awoke, I found that I'd slept all day, and night was closing over the store once more. Later. I have spent my second night here. I saw Ella again. Ella, the pearl of this remote, fantastic cave. She's not like the others. A trifle pale, but otherwise normal and human and beautiful. A child of perhaps 18. She is the only thing that makes this nightmare bearable. October 20th. Escape seems almost impossible. There is a very effective burglar alarm system, and the doors are all carefully guarded. But that is nothing compared to the Dark Men. Who are the Dark Men? I don't know, but the inhabitants here threaten any transgressor with these Dark Men. I shall try to discover who they are. I'm sure I'm watched, though they've begun to trust me now. Speaking to the night watchman would be suicide. Even if he believed my fantastic story or didn't shoot me as a burglar, I'm convinced that neither Ella nor I could get out of here alive. She and the night watchman are the only real people here. And how the others hate the night watchman.
Odious, vulgar creature. He reeks of the coarse sun.
Oh, come now, Mrs. Dolby. He's really a very personable young man. Very young for a night watchman.
Mr. Snell, sometimes I wonder about your taste.
Oh, you must not say so much to yourself. You must become better acquainted with our ways.
That's quite true, old man. Oh, you must come to the play tonight. We're going to be entertained with one of Mrs. Bilby's tragic comedies, Love in Shadowland. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
I'm sure I will.
Oh, it's really a festive occasion, you know. Wanamaker's is coming over.
Wanamaker's?
Yes, the entire colony over at Wanamaker's is coming here en masse to attend the play.
You mean there are people living in other stores?
Oh, dear, yes, didn't you know? Of course, the best people live in Bracey's and Wanamaker's.
Oh, come now, Mrs. Bilby. There are some very nice people at Altman's.
I beg your pardon, Mrs. Bilby.
Hello, Ella.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Snell.
Well, what is it, Ella?
Oh, please, ma'am, I'd so love to see your play tonight. May I have your permission?
Certainly not. You know better than that, you stupid creature. You know where you belong. In the basement, by the garbage can.
But Mrs. Bilby...
Mr. Snell.
Ella, you're becoming entirely too forward of late. I advise you to watch your step. Remember the Dark Men.
Oh, no. Please, Mr. Roscoe. I'll be good. I promise I will. Oh, no, please don't send for the Dark Men. I'm sorry, Mrs. Bilby.
Ella, come back.
Charles, you forget yourself. Let her go.
But how can you treat her like that? Why do you always frighten her? And what is all this about the Dark Men?
Well, Mr. Snell,
Oh, please, Mr. Roscoe, not now. You'll spoil our whole evening, and I do so want Mr. Snell to enjoy my play.
Very well, Mrs. Bilby. Later, Charles.
But I want to know about the Dark Men.
Later.
October 21st. I found an opportunity to speak to Ella alone. I had not dared to speak to her before. Here one has the sense always of pale eyes secretly watching. But last night at the play, I induced a fit of hiccups. As I anticipated, I was sternly reprimanded and told to go and secret myself in the basement where the night watchman wouldn't hear me. This was exactly what I planned. I went to the basement. And there, in the darkness, among the garbage cans and the rat, I heard sobbing. Ella? Ella?
Oh.
Ella, is that you?
Yes.
Why are you crying? What is it, Ella?
They wouldn't even let me see the play.
Oh, is that all?
Oh, Mr. Snell, I'm so unhappy.
Oh, there. You mustn't cry.
You're the only one. The only one who is kind.
Ella, why are you here? Why do they treat you so differently?
Because I'm not like them. I didn't choose to come here.
You mean you were held prisoner?
Yes. You see, I was only 6. I came here on a shopping tour with my mother. I got lost and fell asleep behind a counter. It was dark when I awoke, and they found me. Some of them wanted to send for the Dark Men because they were afraid I would tell on them. But Mrs. Vanderpant said no. I could stay and be her maid. I've been here ever since.
Since you were 6? But haven't you ever tried to get away?
Oh, no. I don't know anything about out there. I wouldn't know what to do. Besides, I'm afraid to take the chance. If anyone tries to get out, they send for the dark men.
Ella, who are the dark men?
Don't you know? Oh, it's horrible.
Tell me.
Well, you know how people live in old stores at Gimbel's and Bloomingdale's?
Yes, I know.
Well, the dark men live at the undertakers.
Good heavens.
And whenever someone dies or breaks the rules, or when a burglar gets in and sees these people and might tell, they send for the dark men.
That's horrible.
They put the body in the butcher shop in the food department, and then the dark men come. I saw them once. It was terrible.
What do they do?
They go in where the dead person is. They have wax with them and all sorts of things. And when they're gone, there's just a wax model left on the counter. Then our people put a frock on it or a bathing suit and mix it up with all the other wax models in the windows. And nobody ever knows.
Ellie, you mean all these dummies are...
Oh, no. At least, not all of them. But if you displease these people, the same thing might happen to you.
October 30th. I've not kept up my journal. Writing has been out of the question. Once more, I'm frozen with terror. Not for myself now, but for Ella. They hate her. Any time they might turn against her and send her to the dark men. My mind is filled with her. I dream of her every day. I live to see her at night. We've managed it several times. They trust me now and let me roam about without interference. And finally tonight I met her again and said it. Ella, I love you.
Charles?
I love you, Ella. Let's get married, or whatever they do here, and then we can live together in my home in the carpet department. They wouldn't dare hurt you then.
Charles?
Oh, don't look so dismayed. If you like, we'll go away from here. Maybe we can get transferred to Bergdorf Goodman, overlooking Central Park.
Don't, Charles, don't. You must.
Oh, but I love you. Ella, you're not in love with someone else.
Oh, Charles. Yes, I am.
But who? I thought you hated them all. Oh, it must be Roscoe. He's the only one that's young enough.
Oh, no, Charles. Not Roscoe. Especially not him. Oh, I do hate them all. They make me shudder.
Well, who is it then? Who?
The night watchman.
No, it's impossible.
Oh, I love him. He smells of the sun.
Ella.
Oh, it was wonderful. The way it happened. Don't tell on me, Charles, or they'll punish me.
Oh, no.
I was careless. And there he was, coming around the corner in the ladies' lingerie department. I was caught. There were only some wax models in their underthings. There was nothing else to do. I slipped off my dress and stood still.
I see.
He stopped near me. He looked at me. Oh, Charles, he spoke to me. He said, "Say, honey, I wish they made them like you on 8th Avenue." Oh, Charles, wasn't that a lovely thing to say?
Personally, I should have said Park Avenue.
Charles, don't get like these people here. It doesn't matter what avenue, Charles. It was just a lovely thing to say.
But what can you do about him, Ella? He belongs to another world.
Yes, to 8th Avenue, and I want to go there. Charles, are you really my friend?
Oh, yes, of course I am.
Then I'll tell you. I'm going to stand there again in the lingerie department so he'll see me.
And then?
Perhaps he'll speak to me again.
Oh, Ella, you're only torturing yourself.
Oh, no, because this time I shall answer him, and he'll take me away.
Take you away? Oh, no, Ella. I couldn't bear that. You don't love him. You only think you do because you think he'll take you out of here. But you don't know that he will. And I will, Ella. I've made up my mind.
No, Charles. I couldn't let you do it. even if I loved you, you couldn't do it, Charles.
Why not?
Because you really belong here. You've become one of them now.
Ella, you mustn't say that.
It's true. And, Charles.
What?
I've got to go. There's someone watching us. I feel it.
Wait, Ella.
Goodbye, Charles.
No, Ella, come back. Ella!
Please, old fellow, you'll arouse the night watchman.
Roscoe.
Yes? Love can be very upsetting, can't it?
You heard?
Just the last moment or so. Very touching. I was rather surprised. And yet it's understandable. I've been attracted to Ella myself. We're still young, you know. And so she loves another. Too bad, old fellow. Who could it be? Could it be that I am the cause of your heartbreak?
You flatter yourself too much, Roscoe.
Then who? The old judge? Certainly not. The colonel? Hardly.
None of those.
Not one of the customers. The staff?
She loves the night watchman. Can you imagine that? She loves the night...
Oh.
Roscoe, I shouldn't have said that. It's not true. At least I don't think it's true. You wouldn't... You said you loved her, too. You wouldn't do anything... Tell anybody. This is a secret between us, between friends, isn't it?
Of course, old man. As secret as the grave.
She's young. Perhaps he'll leave and she'll forget him. In time, who knows? Perhaps she will learn to love you or me.
Of course, in time.
And we'll figure a way to keep her safe here.
Absolutely safe. Now, don't you worry about it. Well, it's almost dawn. Time for bed. Good morning, Charles.
Early evening, November the 4th. I was a fool. I should have known he couldn't be trusted. He must have gone straight to Mrs. Vanderplant. This evening, the atmosphere has changed. People flicker to and fro, smiling nervously, horribly, with a sort of frightened, sadistic exultation. An informal dance in the record department's been called off. And I can't find Ella. I'm going out again now to look for her. Roscoe, what have you done with her?
Quiet, old chap. The night watchman.
I don't care. What have you done with her?
Whatever I did for your own good as well as the good of us all.
Wait a minute. What is that? What are those people carrying? What? Why, it's Ella. She's tied up. They're carrying her. Ella! Ella!
Stop it, Charles. Stop it.
Stop. Let me go. Let me go.
Charles, stop it. You're around the night watchman.
But they're taking her into the butcher shop. Ella! Ella! Ella!
Yes, Charles. Those are the dark men.
Midnight. I'm scribbling this last entry hurriedly. There and there in the butcher shop was Ella. The dark men. There's only one thing to do. I'm going to find the night watchman and tell him he and I will save her if we can. And if we're overpowered, well, I will leave this pad on the stationery counter. Tomorrow, if I live, I will recover it. If I do not, whoever finds this and reads it, look in the windows. Look for 3 new wax dummies. 2 men, one rather sensitive looking, and a girl. She has blonde hair and blue eyes, and her nose turns up a little. Look for it. And then find them. Smoke them out. Exterminate them. Avenge it.
Find them, smoke them out, exterminate them, avenge it.
Sam. Isn't it horrible? We gotta do something. Tell somebody something. Oh, Sam, what'll we do?
Do? Nothing. Go to bed.
Oh, but Sam.
Whoever wrote this has sure got a weird sense of humor, Harry. Probably some clerk down at Brace's ought to be fired.
You mean you think it's just a story?
You kidding? You don't believe this stuff, do you?
Well, I don't know.
I just thought of... Forget it, baby. Snap out of it. I shouldn't leave you alone. You get too many ideas when I go bowling at night.
Sam, don't you think maybe we ought to just take it back and kill somebody?
Nuts. It's not worth the bother. They'd laugh at you, baby. Think you were crazy or something.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I was silly.
Forget it. Come on, let's go to bed. I'm tired.
Sure, Sam. Golly, for a while I was sure scared. I even forgot what I was going to tell you.
What?
Sam, I found the cutest dress today, only $19.95.
Yeah, baby?
Yeah. It was in the window at Bracey's. It was on a beautiful little wax model with blonde hair, and blue eyes, and a sort of turned-up nose, and there was two men standing...
Escape is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald. Tonight, we have brought you Evening Primrose by John Collier, adapted for radio by John Dunkel. Featured in tonight's story were Bill Conrad as Charles and Constance Cavendish as Ella, with Harry Bartell, Lillian Bayef, Jeff Corey, Kay Miller, and Irene Tedrow. Special music by Ivan Ditmar. Next week.
When you've had all you can stand of routine, when your everyday chores offer you no relief, when the four walls are closing in on you, join us for Escape.
Next week, we escape with another great story by one of the world's outstanding authors. Good night, then, until this same time next week, when once again we offer you Escape. Roy Rowan speaking for CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Rice Chex and Wheat Chex, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Visions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are trying to get out of a huge castle on the planet Venus, where Polydor is holding them prisoner. The two Space Patrollers are struggling to open a heavy door.
Oh, it's locked. But in a castle this size, there must be more doors.
Chances are Polydor has them all locked.
Yeah, by electronic control. Hey, Commander, something smells strange.
I noticed it, too.
No, my eyes are burning.
We've got to find Polydor and take our chances. He's flooding the castle with poison gas. We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, The Robot of Vortena. Hi, gang. Captain Dick Tufeld and...
The Man from Mars.
Reporting to you on...
The Man from Mars Totem Head with... Magic Forehead Vision.
And, gang, this is the very last time we can offer you this terrific totem head on Space Patrol. So you better hurry. Get your box tops and quarters in the mail right away.
Space Patrollers, this is Cadet Happy.
Alias the Man from Mars.
And Smoking Rockets, get yourself a totem head. Put it on, and you can be a man from Mars, too. With magic forehead vision and two faces, one in front and one in back. Play neat tricks on your pals with magic forehead vision. You can see them, they can't see you. Works like a pair of X-ray eyes. With those two faces, you're coming and going both at the same time. And jumpin' Jupiter, the totem head is more than 12 inches high in real Martian colors. Red and yellow, green and black. Fantastic ears, nose, teeth, and a swell pointed head. But remember, this is the last time we can offer it. So send for yours today.
Cadet Happy.
The Man from Mars.
Is right, Space Patrollers. So for every totem head, send a rice checks or wheat checks box top, together with your name and address, to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And don't forget your 25 cents.
That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri.
And now today's Space Patrol adventure, the robot of Vortena. The Secretary General of the United Planets has just sent a spaceophone message from Jupiter asking Commander Corey to deliver some important documents to the Secretary's daughter, Carol. Right now, Buzz and Happy are in the Secretary General's home on the man-made planet Terra. The commander hands the sealed pouch to Carol.
Since you're going to Jupiter in your own ship, Carol, I think it'd be a good idea if I assigned a Space Patrol agent to go with you.
Surely no one but Father, you and Happy know that I'm carrying the papers, so what's to worry about?
Lately, a lot of things we thought were secrets turned out to be otherwise.
He means Polidor, Carol.
Oh, Polidor. I'm sure he's after more important information than what I'm taking to Father.
Carol, there's information in this pouch that could be worth millions of credits. And Polidor isn't the only crook who'd like to get his hands on it.
Gosh, you sound so serious.
I just want you to realize that with those papers in your ship, it's no longer a pleasure trip. It's government business.
Of course. Well, don't worry. I'll get them to Dad at the governor's conference. Buzz, did Father suggest a bodyguard for me?
No. If you had, there'd be one aboard your ship with no argument.
I suppose an escort would be a tip-off if this was an official trip.
Yes, it would, since you usually make space trips by yourself. That's another reason I'm not insisting. I'll have to. I'd better be going.
Oh, do you have to?
It's getting close to 2200, Carol. Isn't that when you were planning to blast off?
Golly, Moses, I had no idea it was so late. I still have some last-minute packing to do.
Of course. Come on, Hap.
Yes, sir. Have a nice trip, Carol.
Oh, thanks, Happy.
Goodbye, Carol. Be careful.
Goodbye, Buzz. And thanks.
Just a minute. Did I startle you, Miss Carlyle?
What are you doing here?
Is that any way to talk to a Space Patrol lieutenant?
You're not a Space Patrol lieutenant.
All right, so I stole the uniform. I look like a lieutenant.
Well, Lieutenant, I'll just get Commander Corey.
Stay right where you are. If you try to scream, I'll use this ray gun.
Who are you? What do you want?
Why, I'm your escort. I'm going to get aboard your ship with you at the spaceport.
You must be out of your mind. All I have to do is...
You were about to say that all you have to do is signal the guards and they'd grab you. Isn't that right? I advise you not to try it, Miss Carlyle. If anything happens to me, I have friends on Jupiter, where your father is.
You wouldn't dare harm my father.
Come, Jethro, you're wasting time.
Oh, what was that?
One of my friends. He's on another planet, but he can see and hear us perfectly.
Polidor.
Yes.
Jethro, take the girl and the document, and hurry.
Where's the voice coming from?
From a small device called a detectoscope. When your father had this room redecorated last week, one of the workmen installed it.
In all this time...
I've heard many interesting conversations, Miss Carlyle. Your father has such important guests.
Come, Miss Carlyle. If we're noticed at the spaceport, it'll merely appear that a Space Patrol officer is escorting the Secretary General's daughter to Jupiter.
Elsewhere, in the Coronine Mountains of Venus, hundreds of miles from the nearest city, stands the Castle of Vortena. It was built during the 25th century by a wealthy space merchant as a showplace to entertain his friends in interplanetary commerce and society. Now, 5 centuries later, it is a deserted, crumbling ruin. It is here that Jedro has brought Carol.
Here she is, Polidor.
Welcome to Vortena Castle, Miss Carlyle. Jedro, did you have any trouble?
No, but I'd better camouflage Carol's spaceship.
Yes, and later you can move it into the hangar under the mountain. Miss Carlyle, do you know who I am?
You're a criminal who calls himself Polidor.
Yes, and you are one of the few people in the universe who have met me face to face as Polidor. As Commander Corey now knows, I'm Rudolph Janet, retired research chemist and amateur astronomer.
I'm not the least interested or impressed.
Aren't you curious why you were brought here?
No.
Of course you are. By bringing you here with the documents, I have a powerful control over Commander Corey.
What do you mean?
Isn't it obvious? To ensure your safety, Corey won't be quite as reckless in his efforts to capture me.
Then you're going to let him know you abducted him?
No, I'm going to lead Corey into a trap. Jedro.
Yes, Polidor.
Take Miss Carlyle's identification bracelet. See that it's delivered to Corey at the Terra headquarters according to Penn.
Right.
And now, Miss Carlyle, after I lock you in your room, I'll set the stage for Corey's downfall.
Hours later, in the central office at Space Patrol headquarters on Terra, a very worried Commander Corey talks on the intercom to a security captain.
You're now 4 hours overdue at Jupiter City.
All private first ship's been alerted, sir, just as you ordered. So
Well, report negative.
I talked to the space control operator who checked her out through the airlocks last night. Her ship blasted off on schedule.
Yes, I know. I talked with the gate patrolman who saw Carol get aboard with her bodyguard.
Commander, here's...
Just a minute, Captain. Captain, what did you say about a bodyguard?
I said I checked with the gate patrol at the spaceport. I found a man who saw Carol board her ship with his space patrol lieutenant.
Carol was going alone. I didn't assign an escort.
What?
Captain, get hold of the gate guard. Get a description of that lieutenant and check with personnel and operations. Alert the officer locator section.
Yes, sir.
Hurry out. Captain, did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
That was one of our officers with Carol. He'll have signed out with space operations.
Unless he's gone OPWL.
He hadn't had an off-planet without lead case in 5 years. I think a lieutenant was a phony, and a checkup will prove it.
Oh, sir, this package is for you. A private messenger brought it.
I'll look at it later. Who's it from?
It doesn't say. It's marked urgent, personal, and official business.
Open that half. I'm getting out a special search plan on Carol.
Yes, sir. Look, and look, it's Commander. Look.
My girl's bracelet. Pat, let me see that. It's Carol's.
Yes, sir. The identification bracelet her father gave her for her birthday.
I see that piece of paper.
Yes, sir.
I have information that will help you locate Carol Carlisle. Through a set of circumstances, I was able to obtain this bracelet without the knowledge of her actual abductors. This puts me in a dangerous position. Still, I feel it my duty to cooperate with the Space Patrol.
Wow, does that sound phony?
There's more. If you, Commander, will land on Jupiter Moon number 6 at exactly 1900 hours Universal Start Time, I will give you what facts I have. I regret being forced to use this indirect method, but to contact you openly would cost me my life.
He just happened to find Carol's bracelet. Does he think they're going to fall for that?
Under the circumstances, there's only one thing to do. We're blasting off for Jupiter number 6.
At 1900 hours Universal Start Time, Buzz lands the Terra 5 on the airless surface of Jupiter's sixth moon at a point directed in the anonymous message. Moments later, a small private cruiser arcs in and hovers until Buzz and Happy step out of their ship in their spacesuits unarmed. The cruiser settles slowly down to the rocky satellite and cuts rockets. For long minutes, the space patrollers wait. Then, slowly, the cruiser's hatch opens, a ladder is lowered, and Buzz and Happy stride forward.
I'll go first, Hap. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy are aboard. Show yourself. Proceed forward. Come on, Hap. Sure is dark. What's he like, this ship? Fireflies? That's close enough, gentlemen. Stand right there. Where's Carol Carlisle? There are certain preliminaries, Commander. Let's get through them. Close that hatch so we can open these space pieces and talk man to man. Our conversation can best be carried on as we are, in our spacesuits. You've got us at a disadvantage. You can see us, but we can't see you. Your note said you weren't connected with whoever abducted Carol Carlisle. That is correct. I'm not. Then why are you wearing that one-way vision face piece? Yeah, and why the dim lights? Yes, for an innocent man, you're taking a lot of precaution. Please, if you'll listen, you'll understand. May not approve, but you will understand. I do know the men who are holding Miss Carlisle. Yes, and you're afraid of reprisals. You're scared. Now what? I want to ask a favor. In exchange for certain information. Keep talking. I have here on this small duty desk a bundle of currency. 200,000 credits. I want you to deposit it in the Terra Bank to the account of E.J. Whitney. Then if I promise to deposit the money, you'll tell me where to find Miss Carlisle? Yes. Now will you deposit the money? If you can prove that Carol is safe. That's easy. The spacephone has been on since you came aboard. Hold the door. Put the girl on. Hold the door. We might have known it. Carol, this is Buzz. Can you hear me?
Yes, Buzz.
Watch what you say, all of you. Are you all right? Have they harmed you?
No, I'm all right.
Sounds like Carol.
Buzz, this is crap. They're going to frame you. Listen.
That's enough of that. Bulldo's got Carol, but we've got you. Is that so? Commander, he closed the hatch. Hope that we're taking you to our ship. You are? Shove him, Happy. I've got him. Oh! That takes care of the cadet. Now, Commander, you're next. I'm going to open that face piece of yours and give you... That's your match this time, didn't you, Corey? I'll just pick you up and slam you against the bulkhead. Just like babies. Now I'll haul you boys back aft and blast off for Venus.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. Totem poles, and more totem poles. Tall ones, small ones, middle-sized ones. In every Space Patroller's backyard, they're going up. All of them made out of those super scary, super spooky Man from Mars totem heads, stacked one on top of the other. Say, gang, how about yours? Have you started building your totem pole yet? Well, if not, you'd better hurry, because today is positively the last time we can offer you on Space Patrol the terrific Man from Mars totem head. Yes, sir, today is the last day I can tell you about the fantastic fun you can have with the Man from Mars totem head and Magic Forehead Vision. That's the special secret vision plate on each totem head. When you wear it, you can see out, but nobody can see in. Colored red, yellow, green, and black, the Man from Mars totem head is more than 12 inches high, with a face in front and a face in back, 2 pointed ears, 4 weird eyes, a beak-like nose, and fang-like teeth. Get one or two, wear them one on top of the other, fool your friends, and scare your pals. And remember, you can see them, but they can't see you with Magic Forehead Vision. So get lots of totem heads. Stack them one on top of the other, and you have an honest-to-goodness totem pole to guard the door to your room or the gate to your backyard. But send for them right away, because today is the last time we can offer you the Man from Mars totem head. So for every one you want, send a Rice Chex or Wheat Chex box top, together with your name and address, and 25 cents in coin, to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Don't forget your 25 cents. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in the USA and may be withdrawn at any time. And now back to our Space Patrol adventure, the robot of Vortena. Harold Carlyle has mysteriously disappeared on a space flight to Jupiter. Following instructions in an anonymous note delivered to Space Patrol headquarters on Terra, Buzz and Happy blasted off to Jupiter's sixth moon. Meeting the informer, a man whose identity was completely hidden by his spacesuit, Buzz learned that Terrell is being held captive by the super criminal Polydor. Terrell's spaceophoned warning that they were in a trap caused the space patrollers to attack their treacherous informer. Amazingly, Buzz and Happy were overpowered, apparently with ridiculous ease for their adversary. Right now, they've regained consciousness in a dimly lit room.
Commander, are you okay? I'm still groggy from that slamming, Helen.
Lucky we had our spacesuits on. We'd have plenty of broken bones. Hey, we're not in our spacesuits now.
No, we're not in that cruiser anymore.
Stone floors, stone walls, we're on land. But what land?
The immediate problem is to get out of here.
Yeah. I don't know who that guy was, but he could be the wrestling champ of the solar system. He handled both of us like we were a couple of kittens.
Well, that's what will trap him eventually. He took the trouble to hide his face, yet he displays the one characteristic that will set him off anywhere in the universe, his incredible strength.
Yeah, but suppose he's smart and doesn't play Samson again.
Now, a man that could resist every temptation to show off just isn't human. Just isn't human.
Sir, somebody's coming.
Oh, so you two finally came out of it, huh? Don't try anything.
Get him. A gun in one hand and a toolbox in the other. Must be hunting for work.
Well, that's it. Have your fun while you can.
Hey, Commander, this is the fellow that was in that cruiser. I recognize his voice.
You're very clever. Come on, let's go, both of you.
Where?
Polydor wants to talk to you. Here, Cadet, you lug this tool case.
Me? I don't know whether I can. If it gives you trouble, well, I'll try it. It's not so heavy.
Out the door. You first, Cadet. Now, Corey.
Now what? Drop that gun! I'll get it, Commander.
Met your match this time, didn't you?
Oh, good rockets, Commander. You took care of him easy. But in his ship, he tossed us around like nothing.
I could tell he wasn't superhuman the way he carried that toolbox.
Say, maybe it was the spacesuit that gave him extra power. A spacesuit with muscles.
This man wasn't in that spacesuit.
But, sir, his voice. It's the same as on the chip. Somebody's coming.
Do that, gun.
Stand back. Commander, look. A robot.
Shut the door. Try to keep it out.
That's no use, sir. He's stronger than both of us together.
This is what licked us before, the robot.
It's coming after us.
I'll try the ray gun, but I don't think it'll work.
Never even phased it.
Hand over the weapon, Commander.
Polydor's voice, coming out of a robot.
The gun, Commander. Or do you want the robot to take it away from you? That could be quite painful, you know.
Okay. Catch.
He caught it.
No, testing the robot's reflexes, weren't you, Corey? Like his strength, they're superhuman.
What have you done with Carol?
You are going to see her in a moment. She's in the other part of the dungeon.
Dungeon?
Of course. You're in Vortena Castle on Venus. Now, since you have knocked my friend out, the robot will escort you to Miss Carlyle's suite.
So, the robot was wearing the spacesuit. Now I don't feel so ashamed of getting licked.
Jedro was here in the castle all the time. You heard his voice through the detectoscope on the robot's head.
The robot piloted the ship from Jupiter's sixth moon here to Venus.
Yes. The robot is quite clever, provided he's controlled by a clever man. Out the door, gentlemen, and left to the corridor.
Let's go ahead.
Unbolt the door, Corey, and go in.
Hi, Captain. It's my fault you're here.
Take it easy, Carol.
Polidor didn't get rough with you, did he?
No, I'm all right, but I shouldn't have warned you.
Forget it. Happy and I would have tackled this robot anyway.
Sure.
Such an ugly, horrible thing.
Yeah, it looks better in a spacesuit.
The robot is designed for utility, not for beauty.
It's Polidor's voice.
Yeah. I'm getting used to hearing his voice boom out of walls, spaceships, and now this animated ash can. Gus here.
Gus?
The robot. If he's going to be around, he ought to have a name of his own.
That's the robot. Somehow it fits his personality.
It's time we got down to business, Corey.
Fine, but let's talk man to man, not through this mechanical monstrosity.
Yeah, and this dungeon is cold and damp and reeks of paint.
It's giving me a headache.
Fine place to put the Secretary General's daughter in a room full of paint cans.
If you cooperate, you won't be here long. The paint, incidentally, is to be used on my spaceship. I find it necessary to change markings and identification numbers.
Don't you know that's illegal?
We're wasting time. Between the three of you, I should learn some interesting facts about the Space Patrol and government plans.
You're still wasting your time.
Remember the robot. He can be very persuasive. Corey, we'll start with the Space Patrol code system. Come, I'm waiting.
Well, this is going to take some time. I think I'll pull up a can of paint and sit down. Oops. The lid's loose on this one.
Let me see that.
Sure. Here, Commander.
Corey, what are you going to do with that can of paint?
Black paint, not too thick, not too thin. Stand back, Carl, away from Gus.
Paint isn't going to stop this robot.
No, but it'll slow him down.
Wow. All over Gus's head and down his front.
I can't see. Confound you, Corey.
Now, put the empty can over his head for good measure.
Oh, look out, Fuzz. Don't let him grab you.
Have the robot drop the ray gun. Get it. Let's get out of here.
Yes, sir.
Come on, Carol. Pull that door shut and throw the bolt.
That was close.
I can still hear Gus stamping around in there with a can on his head. It was a great idea, Commander.
Before that robot will be any more use, pull it over. We'll have to get the can off its head and wipe the paint off the detectoscope.
Poor Gus, just like a blind Samson.
Poor Gus, my eye. He's a walking pile driver.
Carol, you know how to get out of this castle?
They brought me down that stairway over there.
Come on. Try the door, Hap.
It's locked.
A castle this size, there must be more doors.
Chances are Polidor has them all locked.
Yeah, by electronic control.
I was hoping to get Carol to a safe place and then search this castle till we found Polidor.
Buzz, something smells strange.
I noticed it too, sir. My eyes are burning.
Yeah. Polidor's flooding the castle with poison gas. Now we've got to find him.
Buzz, Carol, and Happy rush through the bleak corridors of the huge castle. They try door after door. All are locked. And each moment, the toxic vapor becomes more and more unbearable, burning their lungs, making them gasp for breath. Right now, they're painfully groping their way down a dimly lit corridor near a winding stairway.
Even if we do run into Polidor, how are we going to handle him? I can hardly see.
He'll be in the same fix we are.
He's probably shut himself up in an airtight room waiting for the gas to finish us.
The coward. He knows we've got a gun now, so now he won't...
Happy, listen.
Somebody's up the stairs.
It's the central stairway of the castle. It goes up to the tower and down to the dungeon.
Say, if we go up, we can get away from this gas.
We've got there. About 4 flights. There are 2 of them.
They're wearing spacesuits.
Polidor and Jedro.
So that's how they're avoiding the gas.
Door up there leading outside.
Yeah, I saw a shaft of light. If they don't lock it, we can follow them and get out of here.
Look, something's wrong with one of them.
Hey, look how he's staggering around.
Maybe there's a leak in his spacesuit.
Yeah, that means that...
Look, he's falling off the railing. The other one isn't even helping him.
Stand back. He's going to drop down the stairs. Happy, you stay here with Carol. There isn't much chance he's alive, but we can't leave him there.
Sure, sir.
Listen. Someone's coming up the stairs. Carol, who else is in the castle?
I don't know. Just Jedro and Polidor, I thought.
Smoking rockets, Commander. Look. It's Jedro.
Yeah, it's me, but don't worry, I'm not armed. Get me out of here.
Hey, wait a minute. You're here, and one of those men in the spacesuit was Polidor. Who was the other one?
The robot.
Yeah, that's the one that fell down the shaft.
How do you know?
Because Jedro made him fall, isn't that right?
Yes. Polidor ran out of me, left me here to die, but I got this. It's one of the robot control mechanisms. Polidor had the other.
We were fighting for control of the robot. Polidor up there and you down below.
Yes.
That's why he staggered.
But why would he take the trouble to put the robot in a spacesuit?
Perhaps to confuse us in case we caught up with him.
And he figured Gus was more used to him now than Jedro.
Come on. Let's go up the stairs and out that door.
You can't. It won't open. Polidor had the only key.
Well, maybe we can break it down.
It's no use.
You mean we're locked in this castle?
Yes, Polidor thought of everything. We can't even shut off that poison gas.
Got to break that door open.
But Jedro says we can't.
Jedro, down at the bottom of the stairwell is something that might help us, the robot.
Gus? He must be smashed in 1,000 pieces.
Try that control, Jedro. Hurry.
Okay, I'll cut it on. Might work at that. You see this little screen that just lit up?
Yeah, it's the robot's shadow.
Let's see if he'll move.
Oh, his arms are moving.
See if you can get him on his feet. Hurry, we can't hold out much longer.
Hey, it works. Gus is walking.
Once I get him started, you'll follow the railing right up the stairs.
Come on. Let's run up to the door and wait for him.
Oh, Gus is still coming.
Try the door just in case.
It's no use, sir.
I feel faint.
Keep fighting, Carol. Jedro, can you get any more speed out of that robot?
There he is, coming up the last flight.
He's hardly damaged at all.
It's a big dent in the helmet, but outside of that, he's all right. Stand back and give him room. Go ahead, Jedro.
Yeah, sure.
Commander, catch him.
I've got him.
What a time for him to pass out.
But watching him work the controls. Let's see if I can operate, Gus.
That's it. He's raising his arms.
Here goes. Keep out of the way. He's going to start swinging.
Attaboy, Gus. Give it all you've got. Hooray. Good boy, Gus. We're free.
Happy, you take care of Jedro. Bring him out into the air. Come on, Carol. You'll be all right in a minute.
Oh, I'm fine now, but that air.
Hey, all we got to do now is go down these steps outside the castle and... Well, come on, Jedro, on your feet.
Thanks.
Hey, Polidor. He's getting away in a spaceship.
Where's the document?
No, he hasn't got him. I sneaked him away from him and hid him.
Yeah.
Inside the robot. That's why I tried to get control of it.
A gang of cutthroats. Polidor runs out on you. You double-cross Polidor. Yeah, it looks like the only decent guy in the outfit is Gus. Hey, Commander, did you work the robot control just then?
No, why?
Gus moved. Maybe he's got a short circuit from the fall. He's holding out his right arm.
Happy. You just paid Gus a compliment. I think he wants to shake hands.
Huh? Well, put her there, Gus.
A preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment.
The last of the spook from outer space. The last of the walking, talking totem pole.
Yes, Space Patrollers, this is the very last time I can tell you about the fun you can have with the Man from Mars Totem Head with Magic Forehead Vision. Wear one and you're the spook from outer space. The Totem Head is 12 inches high from head to shoulders. And with Magic Forehead Vision, you can see out, but nobody sees in. Wear two, and you're the walking, talking totem pole. You'll really look just like an honest-to-goodness totem pole, too, because each Man from Mars totem head comes in honest-to-goodness totem colors. Red, yellow, green, and black, with honest-to-goodness looking totem ears, nose, eyes, and teeth. And man, oh man, just wait until you get yours. But you better not wait, because you've got to send for yours right away, because this is the last time I can offer you the Man from Mars totem head with Magic Forehead Vision. Now, for each one you want, send a Rice Chex or Wheat Chex box top, together with your name and address, and 25 cents in coin, to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. Don't forget your 25 cents. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy, dressed as prospectors, are tramping across the great Martian desert toward Polidor's hideout.
Getting closer. That must be the hideout right over that dune.
Can't expect to sneak up on him. Surprise him. Best we can hope for is that we can get close before he recognizes us.
Uh-oh.
I see him. He sees us. Let's keep walking.
Can't tell whether it's Polidor or not, but he's got a gun.
Oh, what do you want?
Our car's back in the desert about 2 miles.
That's too bad. You won't be needing it anymore.
Drop, Happy. He's got a blast gun.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, Trial by Terror, when Rice Checks and Wheat Checks again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devery. Other players were Virginia Hewitt, Bela Kovac, and Norman Jolly. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Rice Checks and Wheat Checks again present exciting action on Space Patrol. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your newspaper for time and channel. This program is broadcast for Armed Forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.